This content, including all video, audio, images, text, and metadata, may not be copied, scraped, recorded, reproduced, mined, trained on, analyzed, or used in any dataset, algorithm, model, or derivative work by any entity, whether human, AI, automated system, bot, or other instrumentality, without explicit written consent from the content owner. All rights reserved.
All right, everybody. So we are here in week 2. Time flies, especially if you're working on this stuff. So week 1, we covered the idea and foundation. I posted recording presentation for both session 1 and 2. And then week 2, we have session 3. And today we're doing session 4. So we're going to get started on that. So today we're going to be doing this. So let me just share this real quick. Make sure this works. Yep, looks good. So we're going to build like your MVP. Now I'm going to cover a little bit about what we did to get here. So in session 2, which I'm going to go here, we decided let's build, well, just for this, something that you could see getting made and the process and the flow, a simple meeting notes summarizer. So there was a problem, and this is what everybody in this group will come to if you go through session 1. It's like you're finding the problem. You want to find out what you want to build. And so the problem was, after every client meeting, you spend 30 minutes writing up notes, hopefully, and then extracting action items and sending follow-up emails. You're sending a little bit of time to kind of recap what you did, who needs to do what, all those things. And that takes time. And if you have 10 meetings, it's like 5 hours, which is a lot. Like, there's a lot of meetings that you lose time on. So we wanted to come up with a solution to automate a workflow that takes the raw meeting notes, uses AI to create clean summaries, plus action items, and automatically sends professional follow-up emails. So part of this process that we used, and I'm going to get to this slide, it's 26 in session 2, is we wanted to use our AI Cofounder. So we had the AI-powered workflow generator. We wanted to use this to kind of generate a workflow for us that we can use later and start to build. So I went into ChatGPT here, and let's see. Let me share the screen here. And I just literally copied that prompt. So there was a prompt that we saw. I'll go back to it here. And you can see that there's a prompt here. It says, copy this prompt. So you are a workflow, whatever, and then my business idea, and anywhere you see brackets, you paste in what you want to paste in. So I'm going to show you, I pasted in the kind of a description of this this workflow or AI business that I want to make. So if I go in here and I show you this, making sure I got it all. So see, I just copy and pasted that prompt, right? So here's the prompt. And then what I did is I filled in kind of what I like, the problem and what I want to do. So the problem is, after every meeting, I just copied that previous one, but whatever you come up with, you can come up with the problem and then what I want, right? So in session 1, it should help you get hopefully an AGI strong business that you might be able to use, which is artificial general intelligence. This is our main competitor. But and then once you kind of get the idea of the business, you could paste it in here, like your business idea. So you could paste the whole thing in here in that section. And it says, here's what I want to do. And then this is, of course, the remainder, a part of the prompt. So to recap, that is here in this tab, which you will find in session 2. It's called AI Cofounder. And what you'll do is you'll be able to just copy this in. And this is the steps you're going to take when you're starting to build out the workflow, get flowing. Maybe you've already done this, which is cool. But if not, then you take this. And then what you're going to see is an output from ChatGPT or whatever large language model you use. And it's going to give you the trigger and data ingestion. So it's going to say, listen, let's do the Airtable trigger on a new record. Something happens, then it's going to fire this this workflow up. It's going to trigger the workflow to do something. In this case, it's going to like create a summary and action items, and then be able to send out the notes. So it's saying here, listen, here's what you're going to need for your trigger. So it kind of gives you everything that you would need for that node. And this is called Airtable. Now, remember, if you're stuck on this, you can paste this into ChatGPT or AI Cofounder and say, hey, listen, I'm having a hard time setting this up. And it will actually walk you step by step through. So we're going to go through right now and just create this Airtable. So it's like, here's what we want to sketch up. Here's what we want to build. So I'm going to go through step 1 and I'm going to build this out. So there's any tutorials you need to get Airtable set up, or your API keys for Airtable, that's easily available on YouTube, and someone has probably spent 30 minutes walking you through how to set it up. So I'm going to let you, if you get stuck, you can always message me, but the main thing is there are tons of great tutorials to like how to get API access to your Airtable. So I'm just going to imagine that you already have that access, but you can get it. So I have this, here's what it looks like when you have an Airtable, like just from brand new. Like here it is. I've set up a base, which is what they call them, and this is kind of what it looks like. It looks just like this. So it gives you some default fields here. So for example, this would be a name, and then you fill this information in. Then you do the next row, just like Google Sheets, right? Next row. So this is where you're going to store your data. But this is not how we want it to look, right? So we want this to be saying different things, which is not saying. So we can look here for let's do this slow by slow. We want to have title, want to have date, and then all these different fields in there. So we're going to go and put those in. So we got all these things. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go back here, and we're going to start going through and changing these. So the very first one we had was title. Make sure that's on the screen. And it says here, sorry, that it's text. Okay. So I go here, I double click it, and I put, what was it again? Sorry. Oh, I forgot what I was doing there. Title. All right, so we put title, and then we hit save. So this one is called title, and then we go into the next one. I'm just alternating between fields here. Date. So we might put date here. Now we can do any order we want, but if we do date, you can actually search for date here by typing in date, and you'll find a date type of field. And we can include the time if we want. It's nice to include time because sometimes you want to know, like, when did they fill it out exactly during the day, not just the date that they filled it out or whatever. So that's important. And then raw notes. So I'm just reviewing it. If you're just not sure what I'm doing here, I'm just reviewing these fields and then just going step by step. So I'll go back here. And then the next one that I'm making is called raw notes. And that one is a large one, like a long text, because that's going to hold a lot of information. So if you have like a lot of things, maybe a blog post or something really long, then you might use long text in there. The next one that I need to do is attendees. So it says, the AI says you can use a long text or multi-email field. I'm just going to use long text here. So the name of the, this one is called attendees. And then we're going to just do long text. And I can just do a whole bunch of like comma delimited email addresses in here if I want to. So I hit save. And then status. So we might have draft, needs follow-up, or sent. So I go in here and I go status. And then, so there's the drop downs, like a select. You can do select field, which is going to allow you to select something. Now we want single because we don't want to do multiple items. We only want one status. So we do single status. And then it says in here, we want to have the field like draft, needs follow-up, and sent. So I'm going to put in here draft, and then another one needs follow-up, and then sent. And I just that's everything that, like on this page right here, it's telling me here's what I'm going to fill in for that one. So it says single select, and then the draft needs follow-up, sent. So that's good. All right. And then I'll hit save, and whatever, it doesn't matter to me. But if you click this, you're going to see like the options that you could select here, like just like a select on an HTML page. All right, the next one that we want is AI summary. So I'm just going to delete this one because these are all weird, these attachment ones. And you just hit the little plus sign, put AI summary. Oops, sorry. It's for long text. So I got to say long text because we're adding a new field. It's like, what do you want it to be? So I'll do long text, and this is AI summary. There we go. Create the field. And then if I scroll over a little bit more, the next one, AI actions. So we're going to do that one. Just a long text again. So I remember just copying what ChatGPT said to do. AI actions. I guess I can do a lowercase I there. And then I think finally, it says the email log. So we're going to see the email log, and I'm following what this does. Like you would do the same thing. So I'm following what this is doing. So I have no idea what's going to happen with this one. It's just so that's a long text too, I think. Long text, it tells me, and it says that I want to put in email log. All right, so we've got that. So see, now what we've got is we've got like a nice little database here, or base, and it has all the fields that we want, and we're going to fill these in, right? So we're going to fill in the raw notes. When we fill in the raw notes, then that's when AI should trigger, like, hey, I got to do something. And the nice part about like Airtable is that you can actually turn this into an actual form, so someone could just immediately just fill that out. So that's pretty nice. There's other ways that you can create different views. Like you can create a form, and if we did the form, then this would come up and they could fill that in manually. If you want to make like a nice front end for your customer, that would be kind of neat. Just something to think about. All right, let's go back to our AI co-founder. So it says there's a normalized attendees and clean notes. So what happens is it splits out any comma delimited. So let's say you put in 5 attendees in there. So we want to be able to like get those attendees. So now that we've developed our trigger, like we've got this. Now we're gonna go into N8N and actually start building out our workflow. So this is something we had to do ahead of time. This is something we're going to do inside there. So we might want to put in some like fake data, right? So here's something. Attendees, you might have like their name and their email and their name and their email. So there's a lot of different things that we can do here. And so it says we want to split information out. So you'll see what that means. Then we want to create a clean summary. And this is the part here where we have the what we'll need for that summary when we make the node. Then we have the map action items, like what do people have to do? Draft the professional email, has to be done by AI, and then it has to send the email. And then we log it back to Airtable. So the Airtable knows, okay, this is sent now. Like this is a status of sent. And then you can do optional things. It says you could notify Slack if you want, and there's some other things. So I'm going to say, okay, I am ready to build this workflow. And step by step, I already set up the Airtable like you advised. And I'm going to just let them know that this is a little bit simpler. It's a bit simpler where I put in, the email addresses as comma delimited, which means like this. I just said Yahoo. I just said Google. Like you can just give it, like that's what that means. I'm just doing that for your so you know what comma delimited means. It means commas are separating the different email addresses. Let's go node by node. So then I'm going to do this part, and I'm going to wait and see what it's going to think, which is nice. And then we're going to start building out our workflow. So I have this is what N8N looks like for those of you who may be new to N8N. Let me just get this over. So what you have is you have like a little plus sign, and you can have a little plus sign over on the right here, and that just lets you. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I got to keep remembering to switch between. Thank you. Good job. So this is what N8N looks like. And you've got a little plus sign up here, and you've got a little plus sign here. And this is a raw, like brand new. So when you open up N8N and you kind of set up your own first workflow, this is where you're going to be. You'll say new workflow, and this will pop up. So this is exactly what you should be seeing when you're starting. Let's go back to N8N here. So node 1 Airtable trigger. So we want to be able to set up an Airtable trigger so that it's ready to go. So it says name. We're going to Airtable trigger new follow-up. So I'm going to, maybe you don't know how to do this. You're like, what do I do? I'm not sure how to do this. You could ask, how do I set this up? But let's just pretend that we're going to follow this and see what happens. So it says an Airtable trigger. So let's go find that. So you can either hit the plus sign here or the plus sign here, either one. So you hit the plus sign. I might type in the word Airtable. So there's Airtable right there. So I hit Airtable.
Switch again.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Nice going back and forth. Good job. So here we have, here's the N8N. And so we want an Airtable trigger. So you might hit the plus sign here, the plus sign here. So we hit the plus sign and I type in Airtable. And then you'll see Airtable pop up here. And you click it. And then there's triggers. So there's actions, which a lot of things you can do here, like get a record. This is like actions you can take. You can get N8N to do for you. And then there's triggers, which is like something happened in the Airtable. Let me know. Like let this know. Like make this workflow go when there's a trigger. So I'm going to hit the trigger. And then I get this information here. Now, in this area here, there's a credential area. And this is where an Airtable, like how to set up a credential in N8N tutorial would be great. It's not too complicated. And you'll just copy and paste. So I might go here and I select the one that I set up. Okay, so to set up credentials and stuff is a good email for Airtable, and it's going to be something that someone will walk you through all those steps, which we don't have a lot of time to go through those steps, but I know someone will be able to help you, no problem. And then let's go look back here, which I'll now share this tab. And we want to watch your records, and we're going to go for our base, and maybe we'll do it like we'll follow up every few minutes or something just to try it out. See when's it going to check. So a trigger. Sometimes triggers are pushed, they'll immediately happen. Some triggers happen on some sort of queue. It'll just keep checking every X amount of minutes or hours and go through that. So let's go through here. Let's go to our N8N. And so you can see right here that we have, it's checking every minute. Like it's called polling. So every hour, every day, it's kind of hitting Airtable and saying, hey, did something get added? Did something get added? Now there's the base URL here. So if I go to base URL here and I click this button, let's see, where are you at? Oh, I had it in here just a minute ago. Come on, where are you at? I just set this up, so it should. Let's see. Good grief! I had this up a minute ago. So there's the base. Well, this is a good chance. So param base is required, so not a valid Airtable base URL. So I have the base URL here. This is a good example to do it. Let's say, how do I find the base URL? This is a good example to like ask our AI co-founder. So it says go to Airtable. You'll see a list of your bases. Click on the base you're using. On the API document page, you'll see a URL like this. This part after 0 is your base. So this after V01 is your base ID. So in this example, it looks like this. So I might paste my base URL like this. So let me check real quick. Down here,
Can you switch the?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back and forth because it's a pain. So here we have. I asked it, said, how do I find the base URL? And then option 1 is use the API docs, which is the easiest. Option 2 is from the Airtable URL in your browser, which to me sounds easier. So if you're inside your base, look at your browser's address bar at the top. So let's go look at this, which I'll switch here. Thanks for telling me, by the way. Just it's a pain to go back and forth there. So here we have, oops, sorry. Up here we've got all this info. So if we copy and paste this, which is what we're being told to do, so following the AI, we should be able to do. Let's see if that works. Yep. Okay. So there's a little like open in a new window button here. And if you click it, it'll open your base up. So you know that that's working. So next up, we need the table. So like, how are we going to find the table? Well, that's the next part. So I might go into here and say, okay, I found the base. How do I find the table URL? So then you ask the next question. You don't need a full table URL. You just need the table name, or occasionally the table ID if you want to be precise. So what you do is you'll go in, sorry, and you can find the table ID if you want in the direct URL. So it says open your Airtable base in your browser, look at the address bar. It will look like this. This is really awesome. And so you can see here, it has a description of what it is. So the first one is the base ID. That's app1ab. And then the second one is the table ID, which is right here. See, it says table, TBL. So it's really awesome. Like you really can use AI to help you through this whole process. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to look for that table ID. All right, let me share this tab. And I see it at the top. I see a thing that's called table. And I don't know if you can see it in the view. No, probably not, but I'll paste it in the URL. So at the top, at the browser area, there's an area and you'll see where it is. And there's a TBL up there. So I copy that one. And then I go to my Airtable here. And I just paste in that. So you can actually see it here. If you look here, let's see if I can get it slower. Come on, slow down. You see this right here? It says table. So AI helped us learn, okay, here's the table ID. Here's the base ID, all those things. We actually walked through that. If you didn't know anything, you'd still be able to get through this, which is awesome. Okay, now we want the trigger field. Don't know why it's not doing this manually, but so the trigger field that we want is, let's go here to this one. And we have status is the trigger field that we want to be able to trigger when the status changes. So when it goes to like draft or whatever we have it, let me see what it is real quick. When we go to draft, then we want it to like trigger the workflow. So as soon as we paste in our notes and we paste in maybe the date and the attendees, because we don't want it to trigger immediately when we post, let's just say some notes, because we didn't put all the info in. So once we've set the status to draft, then now as the trigger looks through, say, oh, here's the draft. We're going to use this draft. So I'm going to have status be the trigger. So when the status changes, something happens. So I'm going to go here. And so we might say like status here. I believe that's what we do. I don't use Airtable as much. I use straight databases. Oh, and then we got to put ID here. Okay, so you look here, you get your URL from your base at the top. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So you get your URL from the top, and then you get your table ID like we did in here. There's a table ID right there. It's called table. And I paste that in here and I say by ID, right? So then it's by ID. And then I change the trigger field to status. Now, let's say we didn't know what that was supposed to be. So we could go back to our OpenAI and say, okay, got it. Now it's asking for trigger, what's it called? Remember on that one? Triggers field. And then and you can say, okay, good. So this is what we need. What is the trigger field? So it explains it to what it is. And then it says in your workflow, after a meeting node is ready, then it will shift. So we want to do our status. The status is the trigger node. So it says, so the best field to watch is your status field. So in here it says open your Airtable trigger node. Under the trigger field, type select status. Then scroll down and choose from and needs follow-up. This means it triggers when your change status to needs follow-up. So we're going to put our draft in, then we'll put our needs. Look, I'm following what this says here. So needs follow-up. All right, so let's go back to here, and I will share this one. So I might put status, and then I think we'll do the fields. Let's see what we want. We're good. I think, well, let's try this. Let's try what we're doing here. Let's follow what it says in its instructions. Let's see. I don't think we have a test event yet. Okay. Oh, it's weird. I have the trigger field in there. Did I? Let me check. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's in there. And then let me put it let me put some data in there. So let's just do something here. Let's see, meeting with Steve, and the date is, let's see, let's try October 18th, 11:30. Okay, Steve wanted help with some end-to-end workflows, and also Mary was on the call to help with debugging. I spoke with them about making sure to use their AI Cofounder, whatever, on there to help them debug, and also any YouTube tutorials they need to look up, debug, Airtable workflow, and also debug, send email notes. Okay, so I might paste that in there for the raw notes, and then the email might be, I'll put in 100K at AI Titus as a test email, just to see and make sure it'll send the email out. And then the status might be needs follow-up. And then we don't have an AI summary because that will be generated, or AI action. So we don't have any of those either. And so we're good to go there. So we've got some information we put in here. This is done. And then what I can do is go to my trigger. Let's do the status. Should be able to. Okay, good. Let me share this tab. Okay, so what we do is we go back into our node. I do fetch test data, and there was no data, so it didn't get any data. So I do fetch test data. I can see that this is the Airtable ID, which you don't need to worry about at the moment. And then you can see the fields that come in. So there's like meeting notes, the raw notes here, and then the attendee email. So see, it pulled all this information in from right here. So it pulled this in. So let me share this tab. So when we configure this one, we did the URL, which we copied from the URL at the top. We got the table ID because AI helped us find that. So we got that through the URL, which is in here. Sorry, I think it just scrolls too fast. Right here, we got right there, table. And then we got the trigger field, which helped us. It said status. And then we just executed. Now, when we executed the first time, it didn't work because there was no data. So it was like, sorry, there's no data. So that's one of the errors that you might get, is like, if it doesn't work, read what it said and then say there's no data. So I can go look here at the executions. So there's three tabs here. We're going to use editor and executions. If you go to executions, you can see that there's one that was an error here. So see that this little button here? It's like, it looks like an error. It says error. So if I click error, I can see the field status does not exist. So it had an error. It's like there's nothing going on. I don't have any data. Nothing's happening. So what you want to do usually is, if you have a trigger or something happening, is create some test data, and that will help you. And then the next one up here is the one that works successfully. So this one actually triggered. You can see the little green check mark. If I double click it, I can see the data that came with it. So there's data right here. So I know that it worked because there's a green check mark, but we don't know it worked for sure. Like you saw maybe in the previous sessions, it can have a green check mark but have no data. So you want to make sure that you see that you're getting something back. So here's something I got back. Now, if I go back to here, let's go, and I were to change this status to sent or something, and then I go back here, and I go to my editor, and I execute it. So you should be able to see the status is changed to sent. See that right there? So things will update when you update when it triggers. So when I change the status of something, or because I want the status to be our trigger, then it will actually go and pull that data for us. So I'm going to go back, and I don't want it to be sent though. So it needs follow up. And then we are here. So we've got our workflow trigger working. So, and this will trigger every minute, but we're testing right now. But if you remember, we want to be able to trigger this every minute. So you could do every 10 minutes, hour, every hour, day, whatever you want to do, but we're going to do every minute, and we'll try this out in real time. But for now, we're just fetching test data, seeing it works. So I put the test data in. So we've got our first Airtable trigger here set up. let's go back to our AI here, and we can scroll. I'll just scroll up, but I can just tell, actually, I'm going to scroll up, but that worked. What's next? So then I'll ask it, well, hey, what's next on my list? So it'll follow through. It'll say, okay, great. So now we need node 2, which is normalize attendee and context. So split the attendee string into a clean array and attach meeting context. So here's how to add it. This is great. I don't even need to be here. Click plus add node and choose code. I love code nodes. Okay, they're awesome. So I'm going to get the name that we're going to call this code node. So what I like about code nodes that you should think about is that code nodes fill a multitude of gaps. So they can do amazing things that maybe a node doesn't do. So we're going to go here. We're going to grab, and you can use AI to make your code node. So you can literally do unlimited things almost. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to share this tab, and let's add in a code node. So you just type code. This is my favorite node. And I usually use JavaScript because try not to use beta features if you can help it. But so I'm going to use JavaScript, and here's what I have, this code node. So what happens is it told me what name to put in here, which I'm just going to double click and paste it in there. So now I've got this. And then I don't know what that is. And then also let's go back and see the next step. And it says choose JavaScript, which I did. And then it says copy and paste this information in right here. So we're going to look and see and copy this, paste this information in. So there's a little, usually on Gemini and so forth, they have a little copy button here. So I'll click copy. I'll go back here. And then in this area, this is where the JavaScript is. So I can go up here and I can just paste it in. So now I paste this all in. And then I'm going to save it, because always save your work, save my work. And let's just see what it's telling me to do now. So it says it splits this example. So maybe I'll put something like this in my data over here just to try it out. So I'll go here and I'll just put the attendees in for now, just to split out with those two people's names, let's say. And then it says it cleans and spaces and duplicates, so it gets rid of any stuff that you may have. I guess is a readable name. So it might parse it out from the @ symbol and be like, oh, this is for Alex. So I'm going to guess that. You can make it more advanced if you want. And then builds date and time. So we've got the attendees now. It's making a little JSON response. You don't have to understand how this works. You can follow what it's doing. So it has name, and we could not split out the name if we don't want to, but that's something ChatGPT is giving us option to. And then the context would be the title and the date time, which we get from the Airtable, and then the raw notes and the Airtable record, because we can update the Airtable by its record. So it's kind of building out this little JSON object. So let's see what happens if we do that, okay? So we'll go back to our node. And so code nodes, I want to let you know, do amazing things. So we'll try it out, see what happens. Okay. All right. So let's make this a little bit smaller. So I executed that. Let's see. I'm checking this out here. Okay, it doesn't have raw notes, so this is good. No, right here. There it is. Okay, we got attendees. So I'm looking at what it's done. So far it's split this out, and I've got an output from this, which looks like this. Now, this doesn't look 100% right to me. It has created that, and it has the fields, and it has the stats, but I don't see like it returning what I need in this thing. It's this. I'm going to look at this and say, this is what I'm getting, but it doesn't look like what I need, right? So I'm going to copy the selection. Here's the output. This is the output from this node. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say, this is the code output, but I just want it to look like, whoops, what you did. So here's the output. I'm pasting it in. I'm saying, oh, looks like there's outputs in there. I don't know what's going on. And it says, okay, let me update the code. Looks like there's something a little bit off. So I'm going to update this code, and you can try this one. So I'm going to say copy this code node. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't share it. So what I did, is I said, this is the code output, but I need to look like what you did. See, it did something real nice. And look at this. This looks so nice. And so I copied and pasted that. Well, this is what I'm getting, but it doesn't look like what you told me. So then it was like, hey, okay, Here's the updated code. So let's try this. So you kind of go back and forth a lot of times with AI sometimes to get what you want out of it. So let's copy this code. Let's go back to this tab. Sorry, it's alternating between tabs. Got to multitask with my brain. And let's execute this step. And this looks pretty close. There we go. So now we can see that we have attendees, and we've got that, the name and the email. I'm not sure. Oh, let me check. Did I add another one? Oh, I got it. So here's the thing. It's using data that I'd already got. Okay. So when I was running this node, I was like, hey, what's going on? Like, there's no 100K Titus in there anymore. If we go look here, it's supposed to be like Alex and Priya, right? That I don't know why it's not pulling that in. And then I said, I know what the situation is here. We are pulling from this data that we got. So we have to re-execute this workflow or execute the entire work. So I might hit play on this one again. Now, when we look, let's see, we can see that we have the attendees in there now. So remember, when you're adding nodes on, it's going to take from the previous node data that you have, unless you execute the workflow again. So if you've made updates, execute the workflow so it'll refresh. Because I was like, where's the 100? Why is that going in there? Because it was pulling from the previous node. So now when I execute this one, which I will do now, we're going to see we have Alex and Priya. You see that? So now those are in there. And you can use the schema. I like schema because it's a nice way to kind of navigate through like what you're doing here. So you can do context. This is all ways to kind of see it in a nice way. So I can close this one. This is an array of attendees. So it's Alex and Priya. See, it's nice. You have each individual attendee and their email address. And then you have the context, which is the meeting name, right? Meeting with Steve. Actually, it should be different, but Alex. And then the date of the meeting. And then the context, like the raw notes. So what we've done with this code node is we have an Airtable trigger, which pulls in data every minute of something when status changes. And then once we get that data, we pass it over to the code node. And that code node goes through with this awesome like JavaScript code that you may not even know how to make that actually outputs data that we need to use for the next step. So here's our data that's ready for the next step on the right. It says output. So now we're going to go back to our AI co-founder here, and we're going to say, okay, great, works perfect. Let's go to the next node now. Okay, so we're going to do the next node and go step by step. Now remember, if you got stuck or some of the stuff doesn't make sense, you could actually just ask your AI co-founder, hey, I don't understand this, or I don't understand that. It'll really help you. So don't forget that. So now we have a node 3, which is our exciting nodes, an OpenAI chat node. So this is where we get it into the adventure. So it says the type that you want is OpenAI, and the name is summary and actions. So let's do that real quick. I'll go back. And how do we add a new node? Well, we hit a little plus sign here or a plus sign there. Doesn't really matter. And now I'm going to look for OpenAI. So here's OpenAI. I don't need the chat model. I'm just going to use regular OpenAI. I think that let's see. Should be good. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we don't need to use the chat model. We're just going to use OpenAI. And then there's a message model. And what this means is you're going to send a message to an AI model, and it's going to come back. So I'm going to put the name in here, AI summary and actions like it told me to do. Now, you will need to set up your OpenAI, API token. And by the way, there's lots of tutorials. It's very simple. Just walk through step by step. You'll be able to get your OpenAI token and then create a credential for it, for that in the system. Now if you hit create credential, and here you would put your API key, and maybe you call this make this a little bit more of an easier name to understand. Like I might call this week 3, for example, which I did. See, it says OpenAI week 3. So something descriptive about that API token. If you have this for other customers, do an API token for each one so that you can track the usage. So if I had customer A, then I would create an API token for customer A, and then for their workflow that I'm creating for them, I would use their token. So that way I could track all the ones from customer A. So it's really nice. Make sure to use API tokens per customer so that you can, first of all, limit it, track it. You could stop it. Like if they're abusing it, you could just literally turn that token off. So there's lots of creative. So make sure that you create a token for each customer so that you can then track their individual usage. So here's my week 3 token. And then we can keep tags, message, and model. I'm going to pick a model. So I might put like GPT 5. Oops. And then maybe I'll just do mini, like something. Oops. Sorry. Maybe put a dash. I might have to put like a mini, just keep it simple. And then there's a prompt area here. Now I'm like, I don't know what to prompt. What am I supposed to do? So what I do is I go back to my AI Cofounder, and it's told me to do this stuff. Pick a model. We don't have to do temperature. We could. It's very exact. It could do that if it wants, but might want to be concise and deterministic, which means it's not creative. And so in that case, we'll pick the temperature of 0.2. And there's other things like this you can do. You can follow those instructions. So here's the system message. You are an expert meeting scribe, return only valid JSON, no prose, no markdown. And then clean up these raw notes and return strict JSON. So I want to make sure everything works up. I don't know what it's doing right now because I'm literally following it like somebody else would do. So let's see. I just need the full system prompt. Maybe I'm confused. Like, why are you giving me this extra line? And what is all this stuff? And maybe I don't understand. So like, give me a better system prompt. Let's have that. So I go in. Here we go. Let's see. It should be pretty easy now. Okay. So it says you're an expert meeting scribe and project assistant. Read messy meeting notes and transform into a structured, professional summary, JSON summary that captures all key outcomes and next steps, right? So I'm really just following this along like anyone else would. Always return only valid JSON with no additional text, explanation, or markdown. And that's important sometimes to keep it from messing up the JSON, but also markdown might not be something you want. It's putting in code in there to make it look nice when you display it in a markdown editor or whatever, or on a site that lets markdown. So it's just like, leave all that stuff out. And then it gives an example, like the JSON must follow this schema exactly. So here's what it looks like. And it gives some rules. So be concise and clear, whatever. So what we'll do is and then it says in your OpenAI node, put this in the system message field. Then in the user message field, reference the actual meeting date, for example. So what I'm going to do though is I'm just going to put this into one prompt. So you hit copy. I'm making sure that I'm switching tabs. And then I might go here and I might make this one system and I might make this one user. So I have a system and a user. So I copy this one in there and I paste in, what system one? What I did. So I like to use the expression field. So you can click expression and you can hit this little arrow down here. And then you have a nice view of this. And so I could paste this in. This is a nice way to be able to see how things look. So I see that I have all my stuff pasted in here. And then I go and it said, well, make sure you have a user prompt. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I go here and that's the system prompt, which I pasted here. And then the user prompt down here, the user message, user prompt is this. So I might copy this. And then I might go back to here and I might, now when you want to hit expression. So what happens is if you're passing variables into your AI to do something with, you want to use expression. And that means it'll bring them in. So I hit this little arrow here and I click and paste it in. Now you'll see that there's a little green, it's green. Now if I would change this to some other name like that, like FFF context, then what you'll see is that it's undefined. So that means it's not pulling across. Something's not coming across. So when you see it green, like this, you can see that everything's pulling in. We've got the meeting title, the meeting date time, the attendees, and the raw notes. So we've got all this pulling in. Now, one thing I like to advise is when you have this JSON, if there's another context title somewhere else down the flow previously, it's going to be confused. So what I like to do is I like to put little brackets like this. And you can put first, which I like, because sometimes items don't work. And then in here, I can put the name. So normalize attendees. If I click that, it's a very nice structure here. Now, the reason is it will only take context title from this item. Now, I'll show you where that is. Normalize this one right here. See this name up here? It's only going to take from this. Now, let's say there were some other nodes earlier that had the same thing, content title. When you do JSON content title, it's either taking it from the previous one or it might get confused. So I like to reference inside here and say, no, get it from this specific node, this one. So I can copy and paste this part and then get the first item from that node. You don't have to do this, but this is a little something to think about when you're working on it or if you run into an error. So I'm pasting it in here. Now, there's something else that's going on. It's called JSON stringify. So that will make it look really nice. If I didn't have JSON stringify in here, and you may need to watch this a few times, it's going to look like this. See this object? It doesn't know what it is. It's like, I don't know what this is. I'm just popping in an object. But when you do JSON stringify, which I'm going to do here, what that does is it stringifies it. It takes it and outputs those objects content in there. See that? So sometimes if you look at this output and it says object or something, you want to make sure you use JSON stringify. Okay, and then it'll get you a really nice clean look. And plus it'll clean it up if there's any weird like commas, or if you want to output this to something, then you might want to stringify your fields. And then we have this raw notes, right? So let's go in here and let's grab my first JSON right here. And then now we know it's all working because it's pulling from the left. So it's saying, okay, we've got our normalized attendee and context. It's pulling in the context title, which we'll see right here. There's a context title, pulls that in there. Meeting date, pulls it in again. Raw notes, pulls it in from raw notes in here. And then we can look to the right and be like, okay, look, this is looking good. I've got the name, so forth, right? Now, because this doesn't make any sense to the AI, I'm going to go back to this tab and I'm going to change the name of the people. So let's do Steve and then Priya, because it says Steve wanted to help and then we had Mary in there, right? So let me change this to Mary, just so it doesn't get confused, because it's going to have email addresses that have nothing to do with the people in the notes. In my notes here, I had said that Mary was in there and that Steve was in there, right? Well, we want to make sure our attendees are those people, because the AI is going to be like, what are you talking about? So then we'll go back to our tab. Now, if I run this now, what's going to happen? Well, I didn't resync that data, so it's going to be weird, right? This data right now is going to have Alex and Priya. So I might want to go and I might want to like run this one. I'm just going to do this manually here to show you. And so then I can see we have Steve and Mary in there. And then I'm going to run this one because I don't want to run this one yet. I could hit this execute workflow and it would do its thing, but we're not going to do that yet. And so we can see in here now that we have the attendees of Steve and Mary. Now, remember, if this doesn't make a lot of sense, it doesn't really matter, because you could paste and chat with your AI co-founder coder. They're expert. They'll help you step by step. Now we're going to go to the AI summary and actions. And see, nothing's in here right now because we haven't executed this one. So if I go look in here now, if I go look in the prompt user area here, so now we have Steve and Mary. So that's cool. It might have actually done something. I'm gonna look at this real quick. I'm gonna check something out. I see something. Yeah, okay, that's good. I thought it had made up this this at the end for that, but no, it was the right one, so we're good. So now we have all this information and we're ready to execute this node. So it looks good, but there's one thing that I forgot to do, and that's it says output content as JSON. All right, and we're going to do without. We're going to see what happens. Now remember, there were a couple other settings that it wanted. When we look at here, when we looked at our AI, if we followed our co-founder exactly, where does it say it? Let's see. Come on. Where you at? Okay, it said temperature 0.2. So if we want to, I would recommend you copy exactly what it does. I'm kind of using my knowledge from the past to bypass stuff, but let's do temperature 0.2. So we might go into here, and there are options here that you can pick, right? Let's see, do they have it in here? Don't know if it has it. Yeah, this randomness temperature. So you can go to options. So sometimes if AI tells you something, you're like, I don't see that anywhere in here. I don't see what it's talking about. Go down to the options area, and then you can find and be like, okay, here's something called randomness, and then there's temperature and top P. So it said something about temperature, so I'll put that in, and it said 0.2, and that's just to make it like more exact. So if I go here, and it's 0.2, and then max tokens we could set if we want to 800. I'm not going to do that. And then your open response format, JSON. So let's go see what we got to do there. So we go here, and this output content as JSON. Now let's see what happens if we don't run that. So I'll hit run. It's going to take a sec. Oops. Let's see what's wrong with my parameters. Okay, well, it says, so look, this is great. I love it. So it's like with this model, this doesn't work. So I was like, probably because it's between 1 and some other number. So I'll go here and I say, I got this error. What should I do? Oops. Please, let's go. Okay. So I typed in, I got this error. What should I do? I pasted it in. And it's like, oh, okay. Your model you picked doesn't let you change temperature setting or whatever it might think. So it's like, don't worry about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep it the way it is. And so it's using GPT-4, right? So I'm like, well, hey, this is GPT-5, and maybe you would give it web search access, because maybe it's not the latest information. So it's like, okay, let me search the web and find out. Okay, I see what the issue is, and it's like remove the temperature field. So it's like, don't worry about temperature. Some of the newer models say, okay, good, I don't have to worry about temperature. So I'm going to go back and share this tab, and I'm not going to do temperature. I'm like, okay, because what happened is I didn't have the web search on. If you turn web search on, it probably wouldn't have told you to do that because it do a little bit more information. But I didn't have it on, and some of you might not have it on. So I'm going to turn that off, execute the step. There's one thing that I didn't do, which was to make it JSON, right? So we're going to see what that looks like in a second. It is executing, which is great. You can see it's spinning. So if you see it spinning like this, you know that the node is working. With AI, it takes a little bit longer to run through. Might as well save it while I'm waiting. Always save your work just to make sure you don't lose anything. Okay, so it says node executed successfully. So we know we got that done. Okay, we see a little green check mark. If you double click it, you're going to see an output. So it says the content is this. So it comes out with this, right? And if we look at table, we might be able to see the full content here. Now, this did output some sort of JSON, right? It looks like it's okay, but sometimes what happens is it'll have little notes and change things. And so what we want to do is what AI told us to do. So we go in here, and we want to make sure we do output content as JSON, because right now it's just like it's in here, but sometimes the content could be other content could be in there that's messing up our JSON. So we're going to say output content is JSON. We're going to execute the step one more time. And this time it'll follow instructions, and it'll actually kind of structure it as JSON for us better. So if you're just having an output like text, then you don't have to worry about saying JSON. You can just take the text. But if you're going to use JSON later, and that might be like, maybe you want to make a blog post, and the title is a certain thing, and then the body is a certain thing. Well, if you just have a text come out, then how are you going to get that title to where you need to put it, and how are you going to get the body to where you need to put it? You're going to have to like scrape it out and mess with it. But if it's JSON, you know, I'm going to take the JSON headline, put that up here, and I'm going to take the JSON body and put it here. So let's look and see what it outputted, and we'll use our schema here. So now, remember last time it was like a weird looking text. Let's go back here. I'll show you. Let's see. Let's go here to this one. So I go back to my executions. I click the one that was, see this little lab thing? That means that you're executing on tests. You're not executing on live production. Just to let you know. So then I click this, and remember this weird, look at this. This is weird. It's got summary, and then it's got this, but it's not, I can't grab them out very easy, right? So what I did is when we fixed the JSON to be like output in JSON, now look at it. You got content, and you got summary, and it's a nice little clean area. You got decisions, and they're a nice little clean area. You've got action items in there. Like, here's what Steve should do. Here's what Mary should do. Like, it's really cool. It's like very structured, so we can use this. So that is good. We want that. We are happy. We've got 3 green checks. Make sure to hit save, just in case. Let's go to the next step now. So I'm going to share the tab, and I say, okay, that worked. Perfect. What's next? What's next? Okay. So it's going to search the web. This time it's going to be a little bit more exact. So we're going to match actions to recipients. That means that Mary's going to do something and Steve's going to do something, because we want to email each person individually, right? We want to email Mary what she's supposed to do, and we want to email Steve what he's supposed to do. So it says, hey, there's our good friend code node. So I'm going to get the name, map actions to recipients, copy that one. Or here it says the name here too, by the way. Either way, I'm going to copy this name. It literally is this simple, folks. If you get stuck, you could just keep asking until you get unstuck. All right, so I'm going to do a new node. It's code node, our favorite node. It's JavaScript. I'm going to click up here for the name. So there it is. Now I'm going to go back and see what are we supposed to do. So I don't really care what any of this means, honestly. I'm like, okay, whatever. Copy and paste. I mean, I do. I know what it means, but as a new beginner, you don't really care what it is. Here's all the code we got to copy. Like, what in the world is this? I have no idea. So copy it. Go back to your node here. So we're back into our map actions and recipients. And by the way, you've noticed the names are really nice. Like sometimes this would just be code 1, code 2. But if you put a name on it, you'll kind of understand. And one thing else other people do is they make little notes like this, which I'll show you. Maybe you have a little note like this, and you're like, I'm going to make it colorful, so I know what this does. So I might describe it. I might get AI stuff, whatever. Hey, so now I know like this one does this, and you kind of make some notes about it. People do this a lot of times to structure out what's happening, and it's a good idea to do this because it's kind of like documentation. So you're able to like be like, okay, what does this node do? I forgot. Maybe I'll put some notes in here. This gets all the gets all the data and stuff. So the data cleans it. And so you could even ask your AI co-founder and say, hey, I want to create a little note for this. What should I call the note and what should I put in the note? So I'll remember. So you can do stuff like that too. I'm not going to do that for this moment. So I'll delete that. So let's go into our map actions. Here we have this content. I copied it from ChatGPT. I'll paste in this one. And what do we do? We'll probably want to execute this step to see what happens. So execute step. Oh, no. Look at that. Something's wrong, right? So we go like this and we say, there's an error. Not this error. So it's like, oh, okay, what's going on? Possible cause and fixes. The AI node doesn't output the correct JSON schema. So I'm saying, hey, you know what? Let's give the AI a little bit of an advantage. So you see on the left, we have our input. So our left is coming in to this node, and our right is the output. Well, I'm going to get the JSON, and I'm going to hit this little copy button, right? Copy. And then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say, here is what is coming from the previous node. So, because what happens is now AI can be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. So we're mapping some stuff incorrectly. So you've got good output from the AI node. The shape is slightly different than what our map actions node expects. So it says, here's an updated version of node 4. So what happened is, like, if you're a coder, you could probably solve this pretty quick. But if you're not a coder, which we don't have to be these days pretty much, AI can help you solve it. So we give it the input. This is coming in. Something's not working. When it can see the input, it's like, oh, okay, my code's off a bit. So I'll copy this new code. I'll share this tab so you can see it. I'll paste the new code in here. Let's see what happens. There it is. Execute step. Boom. See on the right? And by the way, we've got a happy green. Every time you can celebrate for a happy green arrow. But you see on the right now, we have some information here. So we've got stuff coming out. And that's like, okay, well, that's cool. I got the information. I don't know what this means. I'm just pretending, but I don't know what this means, but apparently it worked and it's green. So let's go to the next step. Eventually you'll just ask AI, because there are some nodes out there that will build nodes for you, but it's nice to go through this flow, because if you ever get stuck on a node that's built by AI, you can help debug it here. All right, so let's go to the next step here. All right, say that worked. This is the output from it. And I like to tell it, okay, here's what we got. Here's what we got. So if I go back here, when I share this tab and I double click this, I can just go to JSON and copy this. So I copied it. Then I go back here and I want to say, this is what we got. So that it's like, okay, I understand. You're kind of giving the AI context as the nodes are flowing. So I say, okay, I got an idea. That's good. So it looks excellent. I'm happy. So now we need to, from earlier, your attendees were coming from the Airtable currently containing this, but your AI output shows this. None of those exist in the attendees list, so the script didn't find matches. That's why everything fell under unassigned, whatever. So option 8, let the AI use the attendees list if the people you email are the same as the AI owner values. So I don't know. Let's just pretend we don't know what this means. So let's go say it's cool. What's the next node? Because we're going to maybe see what happens next. So it's gonna, I have searching the web on, which slows it down a little bit. All right. So now what we want to do is, if you look at this code here, we have action items. Do you see them? So we have action items. We've got. Well, let's go to schema. Maybe that's a little bit nicer. So we have action items. We have the owner, Steve, and here's what he's supposed to do. There's no due date. Priority's medium. I didn't even tell AI to do that, but it's setting a priority, which is pretty cool. And you can just update your prompt. Action item 1, Mary does this. Action item this. 3, whatever, 1, 2, 3. Steve does this one. So these are all actions that are coming through. So that's cool. We want those actions. All right. So now I'm going to do the next part. And what happens is when you have all these batches, we need to split them out and we need to put them together so that we can send an email out. So I'm going to do a split in batches. So type split in batches. So let's look for that one. And let's find out. Okay, so it says split out. Turn a list items into separate items. So I'm going to do that. Oh, was that the right one? Let's make sure. There's 2 here. So okay, I'm gonna let's just say we're confused now. So we're like split out or loop over items. So let's do this. Split recipients. I have 2 nodes, split out and loop over. Let's see what they do. Use your loop node. You already have a loop node. I'm going to say those are my 2 choices. What should I pick? Because we might like, which one should I do? So it's going to do its thing. And split out, also called split out node. So this is you want to use split. So which one should I use for this? Which should you pick for your workflow? Given your use case, split in batches with batch size 1. So let's try that. I'm just following its instructions right now. So let's take these both out. And we might take that out there. And we'll do the split item in batches. And it says batch size 1, right? So there it is. And we want to connect, let's connect this in. So we can, by the way, that's a nice little thing. So this little guy, you can connect by dragging and touching it together, and then you've got it together. So now we have, let me hit save. So it was saying, hey, which should you pick for the workflow? And I was like, I don't know. And it was like, let's use split batches, batch size 1. Okay, so I got that. Now what? So I say, now what? And then we'll keep going. Get your moving along smoothly. Oh, wait, no. We need to configure. Okay. Where does this go? So it's like, you need to add this draft follow-up email. And I'm like, where does this go? So we'll ask it. Searching the web, where to put the code. Right after that, output your AI result. So what I'm like, maybe it's a little confused. So what we do is we go here. I capture the screen here. This is what my flow looks like right now. So I just screen capture that. And I say, this is what the flow looks like now. So let me just drag it, sorry, over. And then let's see, send. I said that's a screenshot. So that's a screenshot. Can you advise? Because I want to give it a screenshot of what it is. So I can take a look at it. Your trigger, all that stuff's going good. The node labeled replace me is the placeholder. This is where you should use your AI draft follow-up email node. Ensure the loop part of it connects with the draft email. So we go here and we put this together, and it's just like, okay, that's what I need to put in, this AI draft. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you read through all this, it would help you through. So, okay, cool. So let's set up the AI draft. What do I do? So I gave it a screenshot, kind of gives you some ideas. And then you're like, okay, I'm doing this like how someone would normally do it, not how I would do it, because I would know a lot of this stuff. So AI draft follow-up email. So we grab that. So what I have is, what I'm telling you is we pasted in and said, I don't know. Like, here's the workflow. I pasted in and I had the screenshot. I said, this is the flow it looks like. It's like, I can't directly open the AI and docs URL unless you provide it. So I'm like, it's like confused, right? So it gave me some info. And I said, no, that's a screenshot. I said, oh, okay, it's a screenshot. Here's what's going on. And then what to advise, replace me is the placeholder. This is where you should insert your AI draft follow-up email node. So when we look here and it says replace me here, it was like, that's where you need to work. So this is cool because you can use screenshots to help you. So then I share this tab, and then we go ensure the loop part connects to the draft email node. So we're going to do that part. Now I'm like, okay, cool. So that's good. Now what do I do? Like, so you've helped me get to where I need to go. What do I do now? And it's like node setup. You want to create a new node, which is an OpenAI chat node. And so we'll copy this one. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to replace. It says this is where you're going to put it. Replace me. So I see also a plus sign in the middle, because that's where you can put stuff. And I might be like OpenAI, because we know we did that last time. You could just copy this one, but I'm going to do it again. Message a model. Double click here and put that name in. And so now what you can see is you've got it in here. It's red because it's not ready yet. And then I'll delete this one because we don't really need that anymore. That's what we replaced. So I've got this in here. And now, like, what do I put in? Well, we'll pick GPT-5 Mini again here, just for faster stuff. And then I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to say, okay, step by step. So connected. I need in system message paste this. You're an expert follow-up writer. Return only valid JSON with this schema: subject, body, email. And user message paste something like this. So we've got our system message here. So I copy that. I go in here. I want system message. Remember, we want to do expression because it's a little easier if I hit this little button. It's easier to see. Oops, sorry. I clicked the wrong one. In the prompt area, expression. Click that little button and paste it in here. You can kind of see it looks like this. And then it said something else. So let's go see. In the user message, paste something like this. Okay, so I'll copy that. And then I'll go back here. And then you'll make a new message, which is the user message. User. And we'll click up here and we'll do expression. And then we'll just do this so we can kind of see all of it and hit Command V. Now, there's some stuff here because it says the execute previous nodes to see schema. So it doesn't have access to some of the variables, so they're gray. Do you see how they're gray? They're grayed out. So what we want to do now is, I believe we'll just execute. Let's just try it, see what happens. It may or may not work, but we'll find out. Just curious. So it passed in that first batch coming in. Sorry, it takes a little bit of time. Save. Always hit save when you can. And there might have been a better way to do this, but this is something that someone walks through. I might have just grabbed this here and said, okay, in fact, I might do that. I might override this, but I'm just showing what AI is walking you through. I might override it because I might have a better idea from experience. Okay, so now, I don't know if any of you recognize, but look, we've got some issue here. This doesn't look like the nice schema that we want, right? So what we can do is when we click this, what did we forget to do? Well, we probably didn't forget to do, but now here's some red stuff too, which I'm seeing. So I'm like, I don't know if that's good. But we also want to output context as JSON. And then what we want to do is go in here and open this up. So what's going on here? Look, it's red. It's like, it's not finding it. I'm like, what's going on? Looks like it's broken. Look, undefined, undefined. See all that? Undefined, undefined. I could find a way to fix this, or I could just go in and copy our JSON here, right? I could go back to here and say, okay, so I ran it and got a response, but it didn't work well. Here is what is coming in to the loop. So I'm gonna say, here's the input, and here is what is happening with the prompt. Okay, so I saw something red, right? I'm like, that's not good. So if I go back and share it, I might go in here, and I'm getting this. Okay, so this is what I'm getting. So I'll copy this over, this result, and I'll go back here, and I'll paste it in, and then I'll say, and this is the prompt, right? So this is the prompt that the error is coming from. So I'll share this tab, and I'm going to copy this one, because this is going to help it, because we're kind of bridging the gap. On the left is what the information is coming in. This is the prompt. This is what's coming out. So something's going on here. So I'll copy that. I'll share this in the tab, and I'll put that in there, and then we'll hit the sign, and it'll go and do its thing. Because I have search the web on, it's searching the web for the most recent stuff. Undefined, use the prompt with correct expressions. Got that. Key notes on the syntax. Okay, so let's try it again. So I'll copy this one. This is what it's like. Try this prompt. I'll go in here. I'll go in there. I'll paste the prompt in here. Ooh, wow. Okay, look, we got some green, right? So the only problem is there's a couple reds. So do you see the green? Green's coming in. Oh, sorry. Thanks. It's hard to get back and forth. See, like we pasted in. Now we've got green. Before we had red, now we've got green, which is great. But there's a couple things here that we don't have still. It's like, what's the JSON name? Well, if you look over here on the left, there is no name, right? So it's like it's coming in, but it's not giving us what we need. So we have a couple red things. So what I can do now is I can say, I can copy this. Thanks for telling me that, by the way. Don't feel bad. Just tell me. Let's say almost. This is what I am getting now. So I give this, and I say this is the prompt. Okay, and it already knows the input coming in because we've already pasted this part. We've already pasted this part over here, so it already knows what's coming in. I just need to say, hey, listen, something's not right here because there's some missing stuff, undefined. So I'll go back here, and I'll say up here, this is what I'm getting now. So I paste it in there, and I hit the submit. So now there's a couple missing parameters like that seem to be off. So now the AI has to be like, okay, I see there's a couple things that aren't coming in. All right, what's working, what's not? Steps to fix. Run the loop item, execute the branch node, open the execution data for loop node. It says, look at the current item JSON, check exactly what the key exists. For example, you might see this. So I would say, this is what, so it's saying what's coming in. It doesn't know. It's like, what's coming in? So I go over here, and because it forgot, I go here. I might say, this is the JSON I'm getting, right? This is the input coming in. So I paste it in there, and then I'll see what it's advising. So it's almost getting everything, and this is what you'll run into sometimes, especially if you're not a coder. You know, you might not get it. So that's why it's important. Okay, so what's it say? Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I wonder if we get it in the name. Let's find out. So there's a couple of things missing. This personal actions, which I see personal actions here, right? So here they are. But it doesn't have a name or email. So that's a problem. Per recipient says name or email. Here we don't have the name or email in either of them. So it looks like that this input data coming in here, let's see, we've got the name or email. So we've got everything in here, and we're checking in here, and we're looking to see, does it have name or email in here? It does have name or email in here. So it looks like it's pretty good on this area. Let's find out action items. Alrighty. So it looks like it's pretty good. This is where you kind of get working, do your debugging. Because I got the name, everything's looking good. Then I go here, and I'll look at the schema. I've got the name, so everything's looking good there. So something's off. Let's find out. 90. Fine. You know what I'm thinking is this is probably, you know what I'm going to do? So that was a good debugging, but I got a better idea. So we have this information, right? We got all this. I'm going to say, listen, how about we don't skip through? We just create 2 different emails to the person. Like we'll just cook in the JSON. So instead of trying to, like, we could debug all this, right? We could try and find it. I could drag things in. I could try and get that. But I'm thinking, you know, I might have a better idea. So here's the audience. I don't think we need to, we can take that out. Your action items, we don't really have the action items from here because it's like, I don't know what the actions item is for this person. So it's a little confusing. And you're like, what, is there a better way? Okay, so what I noticed AI did is it kind of made it more advanced. So let's just think simple. So we have a big, huge JSON here with all this stuff. We got all the info we need right here. So what if I were to do this instead? So I'm going to copy that, all the JSON. So we've got all this nice information. It's all there. Now AI is trying to complicate a little bit and say, let's loop through stuff because maybe it's not thinking all fully. And if you went through this, you'd probably solve it eventually. But I'm going to say, let's try something easier. So I'm going to take this out. Ready? Okay. And this is what you do when you do workflows. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say, let's make this simpler. Use a code node to output. Oh, sorry. Use AI to take this data and provide a JSON with X emails. Depends on how many recipients each email will be for that specific person with action points and summary, etc. So what I'm doing, I'm going to tell you this. Instead of trying to do this crazy loop, which is still possible, AI can still add too much complexity. It's not knowing how smart it is. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to say, listen, we got all the data. It's just in this JSON file. It's raw. It's right there. You're smart enough to look through that and give me what I need. So what I'm going to do is if you have raw JSON, just let the AI deal with it. So I'm going to paste all that raw in here and say, here's an example. Here is an example JSON that we might get. Something like that. And I'll paste it in there because you want to say example because sometimes AI will try and say, oh, okay, I'm going to always be parsing Steve and Mary. Like it thinks like this is how it's always going to be. So you have to say example so that it will be smart. So let's, I don't even know what it's going to do right now. So we're going to just copy what it says. So it says, let's call this one AI generate per recipient. What do you want to call it? Let's go back here. And I'm going to add the OpenAI message a model. Go here, paste it in. And let's do GPT 5. Oops. GPT 5. GPT 5 mini. We could do a more advanced one if we ever wanted, but we'll just see if mini is sufficient. So we need to have that system prompt in here. And a lot of times the reason you separate system prompts from user prompts is you can do some protection against like prompt injection. That's why they have those different prompts. So we're going to take our system prompt, copy it, paste it in here. Remember, we can do expression, and I want to look at it because I'd like to see it. Sometimes if you paste it in there without this expression box, it'll just be all weird. It won't be all nice and formatted like this. Sometimes that happens. So just do that. It's easier. Then I'm going to create a new message, which is the user prompt. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to copy the user prompt. Let's make sure we get it all. And then here, do the expression, paste it in. Okay, so there's just one problem here, attendees. So let's go look on the left. And I bet you I know what the problem is. Okay, so we have all this map actions to recipients, but we do not have the attendees. And I'm going to show, oh, sorry. Sorry, thanks. It's so hard to get back and forth. So what I did is I pasted that in here, and you can see we've got green, 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 but we have undefined. And I'm going to show you why. Because we're not getting this in the right area. In here, we have no attendees. So what I'm going to tell you is check this out. If we go back to our normalized, see this part, normalized, and this is probably why the other one didn't work as well either. but this is a much easier format than doing the loop. I don't know why I was doing that, but so normalize attendees and contexts. And in here we have, let's see, attendees right here. See, so what we did is, and if you pasted this and you pasted this whole model, it would help you get here. But I know that the attendees are something that we know we did earlier. We normalized the attendees earlier. So what I can do is, this is cool. I can just drag this. So I'm going to take this out here, and I'm just going to drag attendees in there. So now see what happens is now we've got name, Steve, email this, name, Mary, email this. Got it? So you've got it all in there. But there's one problem. What's this? Do you see this object, 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 object? That's not good, right? So what do? We know how to do this. We do JSON, stringify, and then we put it in little brackets. And now what happened is it's putting all the stuff in here that we need. So it's got all the information. So we have the map to actions. We've got the you know what I'm going to do, even easier, is to just say, make sure we got the summary. So we got the AI summary. So let's check it out. AI struct summary. So if you look here, AI struct summary. So we've got that information. Now we'll look in here and it says AI struct decisions. Well, look, the only problem is, it looks like, is it putting them in there? Let's find out. AI struct decisions, where are they at? Okay, yep, let's see decisions. We probably, if you see an array like this, what you want to do is do JSON stringify. Let's see if that helps us out a little bit. That should be good. Yeah, it'll put them all in there. It'll put all the action items and decisions and all stuff in there. So I think it should have worked just without that, but that should be fine. So we've got all three greens. We've got greens, but we don't see object. If you see object in there, because what's going to happen is you'll run this prompt and it'll be like, it won't be correct. And you're like, what's missing? So look for the little object as we saw, and I'll show you one more time. You want to look for this little word, object, object, object. See that? That means no. Like that something's missing. It's not accessing the full information. So if you ever see that in there, then and it's not going to be green. And see, it's still green because it's putting something out, but it's not giving us what we want. So that's why you always want to use. I spelled it wrong. Make sure you spell it right, and then you'll see that the information pops in. So we could try and run this one. We wanted to output context as JSON just to see. I don't know if we've told it to output JSON. Let's find out. Yep. So we told it you want recipient email, recipient name, subject, body, and text. So let's try this out. Dun, dun, dun. So you can literally just, you can do brute force stuff. You don't have to. AI was trying to do this modular thing and adding complexity. Just if you have the JSON that you need, then you can just say, here, this is what it is. Like use this. And that way it'll be a lot easier to do. So we know we got it the way we want it, right? We know that we have it the way we know all this is right. We're like, this is how we want it. We want this. Like this looks good. So let's see what happened. So we've got recipient name Steve, his name, subject, following up session. So it has like a body email here, body text. Steve and Mary met and then let's look at the full text here. So it says use the AI Cofounder. So it's giving Steve what to do in here. Like this is when we compose an email, this is what it'll do. And then the recipient named Mary, and then this is what Mary should do for her stuff. So it's given us the number 0 for Steve. That's the first item in the array or object. And then number 1 is Mary. So see, we have 2 emails now that go through. We've got Mary, we've got Steve. All right. Now I'm going to probably have to change our email address real quick so that they actually work, because those don't work. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to here, and let's just do the same. The problem is I have 2 people. So 100K at Titus. I don't know if it's going to let us do duplicates. We'll find out. We might confuse AI. I'm going to send the same email to Mary and see what happens. So I got to put these emails that work, because we're going to be sending an email now. So AI Titus gets in there. And then let's go back to here. let's execute this one and see what, because it'll if you execute this one, it'll execute the previous ones usually. Let's see. All right, so let's go down. No, it did not. So it's taking this one. So let's do this one and let's do this one. I could have just done this, but it's going to do the whole workflow, which I don't want to do yet. So yep, 100K. Oh, it doesn't. It's kind of confused about the attendees though. That's the problem. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's not send the email because it's going to be a little bit off. Let's just put those back. So Steve and Mary. All right. That's good. Yeah, because I'm trying to show you that the emails get sent, but at this point, I don't know if that'll work with multiple attendees in our notes. So we won't worry about that one. Let me just execute this one. Now I can execute workflow, but it's going to do the whole thing. So we can try it. It's going to go bop, bop, bop. So we can check here. It's got Steve and Mary at AI Titus, which is the new email addresses. I don't have those set up, so I'm not sure what we'll do. Maybe I can create a forwarder. I might do that actually. Alrighty, it's coming through. It's doing its thing. And generate report. So let's see here what we got. So we've got Steve action items and we've got Mary action items. So we can see all those. Then it's generating what we got here. And then we'll see what comes up. After we have this, then we'll be able to generate the emails that will be sent. It's hard to do these builds in real time, by the way, because normally people go back and edit their builds. So thank you for bearing with me on this one. But it's fun to run into issues and then be able to see how AI can help us solve them and then using our own brain to solve them. So then we've got two emails here, one to Mary at Titus and then another one to Steve at Titus. And then we can go through and so what we have here is we've got these two email addresses. Now you see they're two separate. There's 0 and there's 1. So I can do something here because I'm getting off our AI a little bit, is I can do a split out and I can split out, well, let's see. I'm going to split out, let's execute this step. Okay, so what I did is here's one input coming in from our JSON. So let's say that you have, we know that we've got 2 items in there's 2 people that we got to email, or maybe there's 3, or there's lots of things. But if you look at it, it just says 1 item right here. Oops. Right here, it just says move 1 item. I can't get over it, but right there. That means that if anything past it will only run 1 time. But if I split it out, now I've got 2 items. So now if I want to email twice, all I have to do is add 1 email node here, and it'll do it 1, and then the next one. So it'll keep going down the loop. So it's a nice, easy way to kind of take it and do this. Otherwise, I'd have to do some loop like we were doing and try and loop through each one and email each one. Well, this is a lot easier. So I just did a split out. So if you ever have multiple results that you have to go through and do stuff with, let's say that you search YouTube and you find like 5 videos and you get 1 output from the AI. You just get 1. But you have, as we can see, you have multiple, like you got 0, you got 1, you got multiple results, but it's coming from the AI. So what happens is it's just 1 full result. Well, you're like, hey, I want to take all those results and I want to put them into individual ones that I can do stuff with. Like maybe I want to post them all on a different social media. So here, if you look at this message content, see, this is the one that had all the items in it. So message content had 0, 1. So that's why I dragged that in there. I drag it in. And then what happens is it will then parse those ones out. So now we have an email, a name, subject, body text. Okay, so we've got that ready. Now at this point, I'm going to add a new one, which is to send email. And by the way, this is where AI would pick back up. I'm kind of skipping it because I changed a little bit, but I'm going to send email. And what you'll do is you'll set up your email account. This could be Gmail or whatever. So you can, it was really frustrating to go with AI walking me through it, but as a beginner, it's going to be helpful for you. I'm trying to like speed it up here a little bit. So you got the SMTP. For me, I'm sending it through email. It's going to send from hey at AI Titus. Oh no, actually 100K, sorry. 100K. and then the to email address. Okay, so you're going to do the from, and this is same for Google or Gmail if you did Gmail. And then I'm going to do the to, right? So who am I doing it to? Well, recipient email is that one. I just drag it over. Now remember, if we wanted the exact thing, right, we want to reference this, I could put in here the little like this, and then I can put split out. And what that'll do is that'll just make sure that we're always pulling from split out. Because what if you have recipient email and it's farther down the JSON, you have conflicting variables. So I always like to do this to help me specifically pull it out. Now there's a subject message. So I pull that in, right? You just drag and drop. And then you can put this in here like this. Split out. I like first. And there it is. It's green. Green means gold. You can see it down here that it's pulling in the right one. That's pulling in the right one. And then there's the email format. So we have HTML, we got text, right? So I'm just going to drag over this one. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time, which is pull you in there. Okay, split out. And then first. So, oops. So if it's green, it's gold usually. So I can double check it's there. And you can see that it's in there. And anything else, that's it. So I have my sending. It's from 100K. Actually, no, it's from me. Sorry, it's going to go to them. And then it's all set. Now, if I execute this, it'll probably fail. So I'm going to hack this. So normally I would drag in the recipient email here, but because I don't have those emails set up, I'm just going to have it go to the same email address and we can check it out. So 100K at AI types. You wouldn't normally put this in, but I'm putting that in so that both of these emails will get to the email address. So let's execute this step. It says cancel email rejected, right? So hey, AI task sender address rejected, not owned by 100K. So let me go. Maybe that's the one I set up. Yep, sorry. Yep. Okay. So what happened is I had set up the from email. I had it right this the previous time. I had set it up to send emails from 100K, but I had put in hey Titus. So let's do it again. All right. So that's sent. It's got all this stuff in here. All we care about is the green arrow, and then it gets some sort of no error response, which it does not show. I'm going to go here now. Where are you at? There we go. And I'm going to share this tab. So we can see in here, this is the email, that we got the email with the subject. It's to Steve. Here's a summary of the call. Here's the action items for Steve. Here's the decisions. And then please complete the items. And when you get back, and then the team. I mean, that's you can change that whatever you want. But so that was one that was from him, and then it ran twice. So what I need to do is I'm going to delete that one because I think the one did actually work. And we're going to go back to here. Now I'm going to execute this from the beginning. So we're going to hit execute workflow. It's going to go through here. And I'm going to show you a little tip here to do when you're doing this. This is very helpful. Because you don't want to keep hitting your endpoints for the tokens all the time if it's going to be a similar result. So I know I have the same two people. I know that the notes are the same. So in this case, what I'll do is I'm going to pin these ones. So if I want to test stuff later on. So AI is taking a little bit of time. Remember to hit save always, just to remember that. I know this is a lot, and it's a lot to go through, but it's something that I think will be helpful to you, all these little tips and tricks. Okay, there we go. So we got one here, came through. Steve and Mary. So we look here, it looks good. It's got some information in there. It's not empty. It's got to do the one where it's generating. So listen, while this is working, I'll show you something. So let's say that we always have the same info coming in. As we're testing this, it's always going to be the same. We're not changing anything. So what we want to do is we want to pin this. And what that'll do is when you pin that data, it's just going to use this on the right like it came from the AI. So a lot of times if you're doing an API endpoint and you're hitting it lots of times to test, but it's the same data that's coming across. So like we know that this is always going to be the same because we're just testing with one piece of data. Why in the world should we be creating a summary every time with AI? We shouldn't. So we right click on here and we say pin, right? Same for this one. So let's see how it works. Looks good. And then let's pin this one. So you right click on it, hit pin. So what happens now is when you run this, this is going to be the same data because we're just testing. It's coming in here and pretending that it used that data and output this information on the right. So you don't have to keep hitting AI over and over and over again if it's the same thing. Because all I want to test now is I want to test this part. is it's going to send emails out. So I checked the splits, and if you look at, let's see, you can see in here that there are there's 2 items. It says 2 items. So when it's sent, it should have sent 2 different emails. So we're going to find out in just a second. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to share this tab. All right. But both of them did Steve, so I got to debug that. But so Steve and Mary here, and the email is sent automatically with N8N. You can get rid of that signature, which I'll show you how to do. It did send 2 emails, but the problem was it sent the same email, right? So we want to check that out. Let's go find out what the deal is. So let's share here. But because now we have these 2 pinned, I don't have to keep going through it all the time. In fact, I'll show you. Let's delete this real quick, just so it doesn't work. If I hit this execute workflow, it just got to the end. It skipped these 2 because it's using the values that you already got. So that's good because it saves me token usage. So here I have 2 items, and it looks like it's split them into 2, but it's not going through each item. So we'll find out what the problem is there. And then here, let me check both items here. So we look at the table. So this is to Steve, and this one is to Mary. So we're going to find out what's the problem. And then we go here, and each one of these is to split out Steve for each. We might have to do the for each for this one. Split them out to Steve, but it's not hitting it twice. So let me find out what the deal is, because this one should send it each time for each person. Yeah, okay, I'll find out. Okay, so what happened is we pinned these now so that when we go through, we don't have to keep hitting OpenAI every time. Very important. Also for your HTTP endpoints, like if you're hitting some sort of API, and it's always going to be the same coming back because you're kind of testing with the same data, just pin it, because that way you won't have to be using it. So here we have a problem, which I'm going to solve, which I think is probably a for each, unfortunately. Oops, let's do a loop on this one. And batch size, let's just grab this one. So I'm going to, hold on a second, disengage that one, put it here, and we'll see if this one works instead. So it might not have run the way I was expecting it to do. So let's run it again. But because I'm running this with pinned data, it should be pretty fast. So let me go back and delete. I'm just going to go real quick and delete the other one. So just a second. I'm going to delete these emails, old ones. Delete. Okay, they're deleted. So let me come back here. No. So we'll run this workflow. 1, 2. Done. Okay, 3 comes through here. So it did it twice, but the problem was this split. I think in this particular instance I set up, we have to go through each item. So let's make sure it works real quick. So let's go here and let's refresh this page. All right, do we have Steve? Yes. Do we have, no, it's 2 Steves. That's so weird. Okay, well, I'll debug it again. We'll get it going. Let's go back here, share this tab. I know I have 2 of these, and we have it here. We've got Steve as one, and we've got Mary as the other. So we just got to find out what the deal is here. Let's see. Okay, Steve coming through. Come on, Steve, you got it. And then number 2. So that's Steve here. So I'm just checking this out. So we send it out this way. That one worked, and then this one. You know what I'm thinking the problem is? Let's see where we have batch size. Let me try 2, see if that'll work for us. Let's do it again. Let me delete this out. The magic of not having editing available. Okay, that probably did it. Yeah, I know how to do that. Okay, let's see how it does. That one's Steve. This one, Steve. That's so weird. Not doing it for me. Let's go back. Share this tab. So we've got these split out. We've got them in there. It's going through the loop. It's got the thing. It's doing this. Sending it twice. You know what? Let's try one more thing. Okay, so this is where you get your AI involved. So you're like, hey, I got this. here, I copy that section, let's say, and I take this one, and I take my JSON and I copy that JSON, then I would go back to my here and say, okay, here's the deal. It's looping, but using the same guy, not both email addresses. So I put this in, I would paste in the data that I have available. Here is the data, and then I'll paste in my my thing here. Check the screenshot and do this. It'll look through it, search the web, help me find it. It's hard to do this in real time because usually I would spend more time on it. But okay, so ensure the split out node is splitting the JSON array into separate items before the loop over, which it looks like it is. Loop over items input. Confirm the loop over items node is fed directly from the split out node. So I got that. Send the email node, input fields, recipient. That looks good. Oh, okay. I think I know the problem. Yes, this is the problem. This is the problem. Do you see how I said first here? This is the problem for when you have arrays. This should be item, not first, because what's happening is it's taking the first item in the array every time. So if you would have just done the simpler way, which is I just drag in subject like this, boop, and I drag in HTML like this, right here, it will actually work, because what I was doing with my first is I was using it for static nodes where there's not an array of items. It's getting the first item because there's no other items. But in this case, it has an array. It was getting the first item. So let's see if this works. So I will execute this again. Now remember, isn't this great? Because you can test it. And since these are pinned, first of all, it's faster. Second of all, you're not using tokens. So if I hit, in fact, that one worked the other way too, I bet. I bet you that was my main problem all along. So I'll execute it twice in real time. And then let's go here. Okay, number one is Mary. Number two is Steve. We got it. Now I bet you, because of my efficiency there, that I'm just gonna guess. So let's say you're like, you know what? I want to edit this. Like, I got a suspicion that this would have worked anyways. So I'm going to unlink this one. Just move it down. So I kind of this is how you make notes. Like, let's say you want to try, maybe I want to try different things. So I can copy that one because I don't want to lose that one. Then I'll copy this one and I'll paste it in here. Check it out. This is my whole problem, man. I'm sorry about that. And in here, I can pull from, let's see where you're at. So let's run this one. Okay. And then let's go here. And checking just a second. Send email should be in the split. Items is 4 items. There should be 2 in here. Sorry, just checking. Okay, yeah, I know what the deal's. Okay, good. Yeah, so because I'd used first, that was a problem. So we'll keep it the way it is. This is good. This is fine. And this is what you'll probably do anyways when you're looping through stuff. Once you split it out to multiple items, you can loop through it. So here, just to recap, because we have one more thing and then we're done, and that is we need to update the status in Airtable, right? Because now that it's sent, we want to make sure that we, say that it's been sent. So, and we can have a date too in there. So here's, just to recap all this, it was a lot of fun, a lot of ups and downs, good stuff. We got the Airtable trigger, which triggers when something's added. We normalize the content so that we get the attendees from that, so we can get like the summary, the raw notes. We kind of get it cleaned up. And then we go in and we go into AI and we pass it and say, hey, give me the decisions that need to be made, the action items for each person. So we get all that information. And then we map it out so it's really nice. So we've got Steve's things, we've got Mary's things, and this is done. AI came up with all of this for us. And then what I did to bypass the complexity of going through the loop and then trying to do what they did is I just said, here's the whole JSON file, and here's the whole JSON, both of them. Like, you gave them the normalized attendees list, you gave them the map actions to recipient list, and then you go in here and you just said, here's the stuff, here's all the data. And then I want you to come up with something for an email for each person. So that's what it did, is it got all that data, and then it came up with an email for each person here. And then what happened is we split it into multiples so we could kind of loop through each person's email. That's what we did. Now, when we loop through the email, it goes through each one. So here I might do like a count for this one. I did 2, but you would probably count the batch size and just go from there. I don't know if we can do 1, but we'll try it out real quick because I don't think it might. Yeah, it still does 2. So you can keep the batch item as 1. That's fine. In there. Okay. So then we've got that done. It sent 2 emails to Mary and to Steve. And then now it's like, okay, now what we're going to do is we need to update the Airtable. And what I might do is in this case, I might update the Airtable in this one, but I can also just update it here if I want. So it looks like 8 items are coming through because what's happening is this is splitting out a couple things for us. It's splitting out a lot of stuff. So let me check this split real quick. And the message content, I really just want, it's got action items, queue. Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't want that. Okay. So it's really splitting them out into multiple things here, which is what I want to do. AI struct per recipient. It's got all that. It's coming through, mapping it out. Yeah, that's the thing. It should come from the map action section, messages, content. Let me check this one real quick. Sorry, I'm just looking through a couple things. Yeah, it's got 2 of them. So let's do expression. I'm looking to see what we got here because I'm thinking that it's let me try this one instead. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay. Yeah, it's just pulling 2 in. That's what I was thinking is the it's pulling into variables here. Yep. I don't want to do that. Yeah, the problem is this one here is passing through. So let me execute this one. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so we got 2. We got that done. We send the emails. Just doing some debugging there. Let's add Airtable. So we want another Airtable field, and we want to update a record. And let's execute. Let's turn this one off and see if we can execute this one. It's gonna bypass it anyway. So we'll send those emails one more time. Oops. Let me turn this off so we have the data. And then I will hit play here. We'll go through all the fields. Sending 2. It has 4, which I don't want. And then we'll check this Airtable node. We just need. Okay, so once we've got this done, and it's got some 8 items in here, which I do not like. It just has to do with the way we're splitting things out, but AI would help us do that if we needed it. We want the base, which is the same. So I would go over here and copy this one because it's the same it's the same base that we're using. So I'll go here and paste that one in there. URL. Oh, we have a list now. That's even better. You can do from list when you're updating a record. So I got that one there. And then I can get the, whatever. Let's go here. Let's get the by ID there. Put it in here. So we got the personal access token by ID. Just paste it in the same stuff that we have. Come on, where are you at? Oh, URL. There we go. Okay, so when we have match items by ID, and I'm going to go over here on the left. And do you remember when we got the Airtable trigger? We got the data coming in from the Airtable trigger. So this is the ID that we're using. So what we want to do is we want to say, listen, on this particular table, this particular field, this row, we want to update it. Okay, so I would go in here and I update the ID as 1, and then we would go over here and update the where's that? Oh, here we go. Status. We'll do the status as sent, and then I want to pull the AI summary probably from in here. So we have our map actions. The AI generated the summary for us. We can look which one generated the summary. This one. So I can grab it in here and I can say, there's our summary, drag it over. And then if you look here, there's the actions to take. Here's our action items. I would drag those in. Now, remember, when we have that, we want to put in JSON stringify because it'll look better in the record. Stringify, spelled it right. Did I spell it right? No, I forgot the T. There we go. So that's all in there, and this will kind of have like a nice action items for each person that we have. And then I might put in open questions eventually. That's something that thought of itself. So we have all that set up so that when this record is done, so if I execute this step, let's see, it would have done it twice for Mary, but let's go look at our field now. So we can see that, let's see, sent Steve and Mary in here, the summary of everything that happened. So we've got, it changed it to sent. The AI summary is in there. So this is all the summary that we pulled in, and the action items, which is nice to hold this in JSON because eventually we could pull it back into another, maybe an AI tool to kind of follow up with these specific actions. There's different ways to do that. And then the email log here is the emails that were sent, right? So what we'll do is we can go back here and we can do the email log here. Let's see. Where's our email? For each message, we could put that. I would just probably say sent at this point with the date. So I could just be like sent or something, whatever we want to put in there. I think we can do now, and then we'll just have to ISO, maybe. I don't remember if that's the right way. Okay, whatever. We'll just do now. So that might be like when the email was sent. You can do all kinds of stuff if you want. So if I send it again, then if we go back here, maybe that's the date and time that it was sent. And we could do all kinds of things. You could create a record in here for each email that you sent. But let's recap all this now. I know it's a lot, and you could review it again. But we're going to talk about this. So we have our kind of how to summarize something. So we set up the Airtable trigger. We have our Airtable where we will put in manually, for example, the date, the raw notes, the attendees, comma delimited. And then this one we would send to needs to follow up. And then what happens is we would then be able to have all that, enter that data. And then when it triggers, it will go through and say, oh, I got something new with needs follow up. And then it will go from there. So let me see here real quick. So it'll come in, it'll trigger. So I can turn this active now so that it will be working. So if it's active, it means it's going to be hitting that Airtable and checking to see if someone has that. Now, when we get this in, we don't want needs follow-up stat. We want only needs follow-up status. So I'm thinking about this. So we might want to add in here like an if clause, or even better, in here, we can put
switch, please.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Thanks. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we are here. We want to make sure that when it hits, that we only get the status update of something, because when you update it to needs follow-up, that could also be something that comes in. So we might want a field. Where's that formula? Let's see. Actually, I'll do it easier for everybody here. We're going to add an if clause in here, and so we put an if. So what I do is I had nothing in here. I just hit the plus sign, if clause, and we only want it if it's set in a certain status. So we want needs follow-up only. So if this is equal to, what I do is I drag in status up here. So we're going to check the status if it's equal to needs follow-up. So if it's equal to needs follow-up, it's going to go this way. If it's not, it's just going to stop. And so that's the key. Is I'm not an expert in Airtable stuff, so I'm sure there's a way, an Airtable formula to set that. I'm sure there is. So you can look up a tutorial. But this is also another way to fix it, which is just check. So if the status needs follow-up, then you can continue through the process to make sure that you catch it in the flow. Now, one other thing is you can tidy stuff up. If you outline it, you can say tidy up to make it look nice. So if I execute this now, watch what happened. See this false branch? Now, why is that false? Because if you look at the data coming in over here, where are you at? Status, where are you at? Status. Status is sent. See that? So if you update if I were to update the table now, some values in there, if I update the status, what would happen is it would just keep running this over and over again because it's like, oh, it's updated. So what I did is I'm checking, I'm saying, hey, listen, if the status is this one, which is the one I set when I enter the data, then you can do it. So let's try it real quick and see if this works. I want to turn these, I'm going to unpin these. Don't forget to unpin stuff, you know, so that it'll work the way you want it to. And then I'm going to go over here to this one here, and let's just do another one. So meeting with Mike, right? So Mike, and that meeting was maybe on this time. And so let's see, Mike wanted to know if AI works for his business. I said he could use automation, and he asked how, and I told him to use AI to find out what automation he needs and to then tell me. Okay, and then I'll put in, because I know this one works, because it's an actual email address. And then so I'm going to put the status in here. It needs to be needs follow-up. So right now there's no status, let's say, right in here there's no status. So if I go back here and I were to execute this, there's no true branch because nothing matched that status. So this is a way to kind of log stuff in. So if I go now, watch, check this out. If I go in here and I change this to needs follow. Now, if I send it to draft, like I'll do a draft, let's do draft. And if I execute this, you still get a false branch. Why? Because the status is not, there's no correct status in here. So if I go to, let's go back, and I change this to needs follow-up, and I save it, and then I execute this branch, still don't know what's up. Come on, do it, let's go. Supposed to pull the newest one in. It's not doing it every minute. Status. That should work.
Switch, please.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. I got a couple. It's me by myself here, so it should work every minute when it's doing it. Maybe we'll just wait a second, but it will check the status. It's just getting Steve right now, which we don't want. So we want Steve want to keep going through. So the new field in there. Let me just make sure it goes. Should update 100K. It's got it. Checking it. Let's do. Yeah, it's just executing on that first row because that one is not changed. So it should come in though once it does its loop, because this is the trigger field. So a created time or last modified time that will be used to sort records. So actually, I think that's the problem, is we have to that we put the right time in, so it should be there. But we also forgot to do one more thing. Created at created time. So let's do created at and then create that. And I also like to add an updated date. You want to look created and updated because so let's do update. Sorry, date. And then oh, sorry. Yeah, I gotcha. So what I'm showing you here, sorry, this is experimental doing these live things. So you want to put a date, like a created at date, created time, and you would just call created at. And then you also need, let's create field. You want us to add one more that is last updated, last modified time, and that's updated at. I forgot to add these fields, sorry. So these two fields, created at update, will help the system know when something was updated, and then they'll be able to do a trigger on it. So let me run it real quick. Let's run this one, and let's run this. It's supposed to get the other one. It's not getting the other one though. What's going on? Let's find out. Sent. We got that right. Needs is equal to needs follow-up, which we got. It's just not right. It's active now, so it should be working every minute. We don't want the daytime. I got that right. I got the trigger field status, what we want. Yeah, it should be working. So I don't know if I have to wait around for it to go through the execution times. Nothing's come through yet. It's a minute. But yeah, that essentially, this is linked up, so it should update when a new record comes in. But I'm executing it now, just pulling it on the first one. So it should come in with the new one when it detects a new one that has been added, which I'll edit. Should be good. So here's our trigger. The trigger comes in, it's checking the status to see if the status field changes. And it's saying here that, created time or last amount of time field that will be used to sort records. If you not have a created time or last time, sorry, please create one. Oh, okay, I got you. So we'll do updated at. That's a problem. It needed that information. Yeah, it says it doesn't exist though. Hold on a second. Sorry. I think I did last update it. Update that. That's there. Come on, you got it.
I think it was at.
Yeah. That's it. Yep. Got it. That's the one. I'm just changing here. Yep. Yeah. I guess I should follow instructions instead of being so quick. Usually I do this fast. Okay, meeting with Steve. Got that one. Trigger field and the field status. Let's get that one. It's weird. Okay, well, it should work. It only has one in there. Yep, it's only pulling. Oh, wait. Oh, I did another one there for a second. No, this will work if we set up the way that it's supposed to, which it is, because we have the trigger updated at. So, oh wait, last modified. Should be last modified. Yep, but I'll show you an example here of just we'll just use the Airtable to get the field. So just to get an idea, get a record. Oh, search records. Let's do that one instead. Search records. Airtable. Search records. That one. Put it here. I'll just do another one here just to kind of demo what happens. Let's grab the URL here, and also we need the table here. Got that one. And then this, let's see. So with this one's getting the records, and you can see that there's 3 records here, and that one's undefined. Let's delete that one. This one, there's an extra record that got in there. So let's delete that one. Let's check this one out, make sure that's good. Updated at. Should be there. Updated at. That should work. Let's update this field. Oh, it doesn't work that one. Let's change the status here. Draft and needs follow up. There we go. That time's different. So this one pulls in all of them because I'm getting it from the field. And this one should. It still says meeting with Steve. So I got to I'll debug that one a little bit. But if you configure this the way if you configure this the way AI tells you, then you'll be good. I don't know why it's not I don't know a ton of Airtable stuff, so you have to go through and find out. Let me see real quick. I'll find out. I usually use a database, so let's see. For Airtable trigger does not seem to be triggering on status update. Here is the node. All right. So what I'll do is I'll go in here. I will copy and paste this in here so I can kind of see an idea of what it looks like. And then I'll share this tab. Now, this is always a challenge, live stuff. So let's see if it looks at it and tells me what the problem is. I recommend using a database if you can, but that's how it is. What does doc say? The trigger field should be created or last modified field in your table. The node works by polling. One check this up. You have a trigger field set to something like updated at or maybe status. This field might not be last modified time, created time type. It's a single select. May not detect the change. The Airtable trigger may only detect changes in the trigger field if the field is actually of the correct type, created last modified. Okay, got it. So that's the problem. So how to fix it? Add a last modified time. Let's just add that in and see what happens. Let's change our this one to last modified time. And oh, here we go. So this one will be updated only when you pick specific fields. So I could pick like status, for example, and when status is changed, it will update the field. So yeah, so I'm not a pro at Airtable, honestly. So like, it's actually good for this demo, I guess. So I changed it to last modified time just to make sure we got it. And then I'll go over here to our field because we got to get this going. And then here it's called last modified time. Fetch the field, and that is meeting with Steve. So let's check out here and share this tab. Meeting with Mike. So let's do this one. I'm going to sent. Needs follow-up. So we can see that the time's been updated to 1:13. And then let's go back here. And we want to be able to, it's just not executing every minute, which is what I want. I don't know why in the world it's not doing it. Meeting with Steve. Every minute. Check the polls. Last modified time, which is what we want. It's good. Change the thing. It's just not running. Like I'm waiting for it to run. I guess I gotta wait a minute or something. Oh, here we go. There it is. That was running. There we go. Finally, the test data was just not working for us. So this one's running, and so what that means is it detected the change. Sorry about that. It detected the change that we did. So I'll recap what we did here while we're doing it. So what I did is that, see this green, it actually updated it. It actually put in the AI summary, the AI action. So what I did is I had forgotten to use, because I'm not an Airtable pro, I forgot to have like a modified time, which is what it's using to find if there's an update. So you can have it created at, which is good. That's when you created it. Then you need a last modified. That's every time you modify. What I did in the last modified is I said specific fields. So only trigger or only update last modified if you change the status. Okay, so that's what happened is when you change the status, Airtable will update the last modified. When it did that, I was trying to run, it'll get changed to sent, by the way. I was trying to run this manually, and I had to wait for that trigger event to happen. So it got the trigger event, and here's the executions here. It should be done. So here's the execution. So what happened is it triggered. It said, hey, Titus changed something. He changed it to needs follow-up.
Your window is missing.
Got it. Thanks. Sorry, it's so hard to remember. So then the meeting with Mike, it came in. It had the status of needs follow-up. So because it had the status of needs follow-up, it was like, is this true? And it's like the check mark green, which means yes. And then it went through and ran through the whole script for us, sent the emails. So that one is for Mike. So here, let's go see if we got emails for Mike now in here. I don't know. It doesn't have subject. Let's see. Where's it at? I don't think it has it in there for now. I got to check out what happened. Oh, you know what happened is it probably did it twice. So let's go here. And we're going to look at these fields that were sent. And yeah, no, that's cool. Okay. I think because I had multiple arrays, it's a problem. But so here's one more thing you can do when you debug stuff. So you come in here, you got something that may not be working the way you want. You say copy to editor. And this is really cool. So if you ever have a workflow that kind of executes halfway through or breaks halfway through, go to copy to editor so that you can pretend like this is like you're going to reinitiate this flow. So I'm checking it out. I'm going to see, did I get actions? Well, I have one action for Mike, right? It's just Mike. We can look at the schema. So there's a summary about me. I just had one person this meeting. And this is why you do different test data as we try and do. And then action items for Mike. Like here's what Mike needs to do. Action, I'm for the owner. That's me. I don't know why that's in there, but we'll find out. And then so you test it out. And then we check and see our split data. So there's two, let's see here, where are they at? Recipient email, why does that look like that? What in the world? Oh, okay, that's the problem. There was a line connecting them. This line, I don't know how that happened. There was a line like this. So it was doing two things at this. I'm like, what is going on? So let's remove the line. Now you can re-execute this flow. And what it's going to do is it's going to pretend like the data came in right here. That's why it's pinned. And then it's going to go through the flow like this was a real execution, which is very helpful. Let me delete all the other stuff while it's doing that. So I have it. Delete. And delete. Okay. And let's go back. I'm checking it out. Yeah. So what happened is I had drawn I don't know how that connected. It must have been an error that I did, or I dragged something. And so it connected the line in the wrong area, which is not good. Okay. I was like, what is breaking about this thing? And that little line. So if I go back to here, let's refresh the page. So you can see that this was sent to whatever. I don't know why I picked 100K, probably because it's something in my list of names, which I did in the data. It says, this is Mike, this is assigned, review Mike's, this is the thing. So this is the data that was associated with that particular user. Let me go here. Let's check this out. So when we got our split out, we've got this one. There's only one, probably because it's confused by. Yep, that's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, see this? It's because the email confused it. There's only one email. It's like that must not be Steve. So this is like for prompt engineering. So you see this 100K AI Titus. That's why it got confused. It should have been Steve at AI Titus, and it would have got it. So I'm trying to do this to demo to you that it's working, but it's not. So I should do this. I'm going to change this to Steve at AI Titus. Oops. And then I remember I manually will set it or something in there. That's not going to go through, but it would have sent the proper email. But because it had 100K at AI Titus, this is how smart AI is. It was like, okay, the other person talking on the conversation must be the one that's associated with this email, but it did not find an email for Steve. So that's the issue. Is it should have it would have done this properly with the real working notes where the name of the person was the name of the person. So that's the problem. Is it thought, since I don't find anything with Steve in it for the email address, this must be 100K associated with the talker, the person who is talking, which, you know, if you look in the notes, it's first person, which is like, I said he could use automation, so forth. So we didn't have Steve in there. If I would have put Steve in here, Steve at, even though this won't work, this email address won't work. And I changed this back to needs follow-up, and let's delete this out. So AI summary, delete that, owners out, email log, we don't need that. Now I've done that, so we'll have to wait a minute before it kicks in. So I don't know if I can explain that error to you. So this prompt had said, hey, find the people at the call and then associate to their email from the attendees. Normally I would have my name in there too. It'd be like Titus at whatever, and then Steve at, or Mike in the example, Mike, oops, sorry, let me change that real quick. So it makes more sense, because Steve's not going to make any sense. So it's so smart that it was like, well, I didn't find Mike in there for the attendees. So this must have to go, I must just send an email to the 100K, like somebody. So it was a little confused. In the normal flow here, you would actually put the email address in, and you'd actually have the real names associated with it. So you can like tweak the prompt a little bit more if you wanted. I could have attendees be like Titus space, Titus at comma, like something like this. Titus, and then I could do like Mike space. And what happens is when it looks like this, AI will be like, okay, Mike, and that's his email, Titus, and that's his email. It's possible that will work. We could try it out. We're just waiting a minute for it to execute. This is the real deal. Like what you've seen today is what every workflow person like is going through when they run into errors, when they have issues, when they get stuck. So I'm sorry that it didn't go like as a smooth flow, but actually that's probably not how it's going to go for everybody who works on stuff. Oh, here it goes. See it turn green? Do you see that? Look. See this turn green? So let's go look at the workflow now. All right, so we want to find out that workflow. We go to executions, and this is the one that was just executed just now. So it came in, and it needs follow-up. It has 2 people. It must have pulled the other one without our names in there. And then it does the thing, and then it sent 2 emails. Now, one is not going to work because it's going to go to Steve at AI Titus, which does not exist. But see this number 2? It sent 2 emails. So this time it did it right because it found 2 people in there, and you can see recipient email. Here's 100K, name 100K. That would just be me. And then the next one is that's 100K. The next one is Mike at AI Titus. So it was just a prompting issue. So I checked it out. I'm like, what's going on? It's because the AI was like, hey, there's only one attendee in this list, and it's not Mike because the email doesn't say Mike. So that's the problem. So you got to be thinking that way, like as you study your data. It's been a really good lab experiment here doing that. But okay, let me share this real quick. In a second. Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. All right, share this tab. Okay, finally, so we did. It took a while to build it, and we'd had a lot of ups and downs, but this is good because that's what you're going to encounter. And just be asking AI, I need some help with this. Remember, AI was like, Titus, you forgot the last edited field. Like, get that set. So you can just it's patient. So you can keep asking it over and over again. You don't have to worry that you're going to make it mad or it's going to get mad at you. So I could have asked that same question over. Well, how do I do less edit? Where do I go? Just keep asking. It'll walk you through. And we got it working. Like, it's emailing the people. And then we ran into a bug, but it worked. That we had 1 email attendee, but we had 2 people in the call. And so I was like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I'm guessing 100K must be the person who doesn't have a name. So it sent to that email. Then you put Mike in there, and it would send, like we saw, it would send an email to Mike. So it's I just don't get that email because it's one that's I don't have an email address for it. No, actually I do. Okay, cool. Let's check it out. I must have set up forwarding way ahead of time. Okay, so first it's sent to 100. There we go. It did. I guess I forwarded it. So in the emails. So this one's 100K. So that's the first email for me, the person on the call without a name. And then secondly, this one was to Mike, who was on the call. So I was like, oh, here's what Mike needs to do. He needs to do this stuff, so forth. So that's cool. That's smart. That's what's neat about AI. All right, let me just get back to the slides here, and we'll be done. Okay, so we built that out today. We did the trigger phrase, which took some time, had some bugs, which is awesome. I tried to follow AI specifically. We pivoted a little bit by saying, why should we make it complicated? Let's just give it the data we already have that we know works, and let's have it generate some email addresses. So that I changed it a little bit up there. We collected the data, and we did the AI processing. And then here's like some information for the AI processing that you could use. And then the action step, we did some AI to make the email and so forth. We did some end testing. See, that's important. I tested this out with 2 attendees, but the next one I had 1 attendee, but I had 2 people in the chat. So there was a bug, and you wouldn't have found that bug without that happening. So put some test data in, try some things out, and try and break it, and then you'll be able to see what happens. So testing is important. Whew. Okay, let me just do this real quick. I know it's a ton. It's recorded, thankfully. Got a lot of experience there. So let's open it up for any questions that anybody has. Gary, yes, you made it, and you're awake.
How you doing, sir?
Good, man.
So a question I had was back when you were doing the first content node and the stringify thing. Is there any way to get that prompted? Because I wouldn't know when to say, okay, now I should type in stringify, or now I should type in first content node.
Okay. So let me look at the thing real quick. Let me share it. You can tell me where it's at. So let's look at
yeah, you were saying something along the lines of content data, but if content data is different down the line, you want to put first content node.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So you're talking about, like, for example, I had said something like, you might want to put the name of the thing in first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the better thing I should have done is probably item, because first we ran into an issue when we had an array of items. So what you could normally do, here's what you can do. Like, you can literally drag it in like this, right? And that should work. But if you ever have issues with it, then you'll know that it's probably, there's another created time somewhere along the loop that's conflicting with the JSON. Because see this little JSON variable, it's just passing through. So if you have the same name from two nodes, you're gonna have a problem. Because it's like, well, I don't know which created. It's gonna use this one and break it possibly. So what I tell it is I go, listen, you gotta tell it what specific node. And in this case, I probably should have done item, because it would be any item. I did first because it got the first item, because usually I'm not dealing with arrays. But so in the case, like, you could just use item instead. That's how I'd update it. Instead of just use first, just use item. You'll be fine. You know.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, but yeah, I usually do that because you'll run into problems where if there's a conflict with the let me just do this so it's in here, so you guys, because I'll give you this workflow so you have it. So there could be let's say you're in node 1 and it's like JSON name, right? And then node 2, some sort of outputs name, right? But this is different. Let's say that's Mary and this is John. So when you go to your last node and you're like, oh, send an email, right? Let's send an email, whatever. And I want you to use JSON name. But the one that you wanted was John. Well, it's going to use Mary because it's just going to overwrite that variable as it's moving along the path. But if I were to do something like this, find John, whatever, some sort of, we name our node, right? We name it find John node. And you have to always have to do item. And you can't just do this. So you do item John like this. Then when I did this, this would be Mary always, right? But if I did this, watch, check this out. What we'll call friend name. When I did this, this would be John, because we've got the item from we're getting Mary from. So like the best thing is to always do, I believe that's the case, that is to always do this. You reference because I see so many errors of people who are like, why didn't this work? You know, like, why did this work? Because there's a whole bunch of possibly those named variables in other nodes. So when I have the specific node that it comes from, and I can reference it anywhere for specific node name, let's say, and it's really easy to type this in. But a lot of times it will work too, and drag over, it'll have the name in there. Then I have this. I know that I'm always getting that email address. I'm not getting some other email address that could have overwritten the JSON. So that's what I'm saying is you normally you'll be fine dragging this in like this. Normally you'll be fine. You should be fine.
Gotcha. And so just to verify, that's something we have to know. It's not something that AI companion will help us with.
Well, it might, because it might actually, if you say, hey, node 1 gave me John and node 2 gave me Mary.
Gotcha.
Or the error would say there's some duplicate or some problem with this variable. Yeah, but you'd have to kind of think about that a little bit, but it should still be able to sort it out if you provide it with all the nodes. Let's say you have 3 nodes. Just copy the output from each node and then say, what happened? And it'll be like, oh, I noticed you set this name thing twice, but you're not referencing it properly. So that's what it would do probably in that case. It's not always the case that this is going to be a conflict of variables, but as you continue to like add more nodes on, it's possible. Like I would have had a conflict. For example, let me take this out. I would have had a conflict with the variables from this one, because this outputs content. So if I just did JSON content and this one, which outputs content, you'd have some sort of issue there, because all of a sudden you've got 2 content variables. If you put JSON content, it won't even know this is index 0 and this one is index 0. It won't even have a clue. So if I did like this, let's say I'm just making it up here. Let's see, 0, whatever. I just contact. I'm just putting that in comment. What is it? Content. How will it know which one to pick from? It doesn't know, because it's just going in line. So it's probably going to pick the previous one, not the one before. So you wouldn't be able to reference past variables that have that same name. It's probably just going to overwrite it. So if I like to put in the specific location of it, so that I want to use that specific one if there's ever a conflict between the two. But it should be fine for everybody who's watching this video that you just drag and drop. But if you happen to find an instance where this one, let's say you wanted to use this summary, right? And you just dragged JSON 0 content, whatever, summary into this future node up here. So let's just add a node in here. Let's do set variables. That's easier. So let's say I wanted to, so here we hit, see, you can see the map. So here's the flow. Starts the beginning, goes the way up. So I want this one. So if I drag summary in, see, it puts the name in, but it won't do that sometimes if you haven't saved it and done other things. So sometimes it'll do this. Now, if you do this and I execute this one, let's pin this and pin this one. And let's pin this one too, so that it goes the right way. And I run this one. Okay, what's it saying? It's like it's not, it's like, oh, hold on, let me make sure I got it right here. Jason, oh no, okay, I got it. Message content 0, it should be there. Let's see if that's, no, it's not. It should pull in. I wanted to do it where it's not the name, you know. Oh, I got it. Okay. I got it. Okay, so it's pulling it in, but there is no you see it says JSON message content summary. There's no summary in here anywhere. But I pulled it from the other one. Like I'm like, hey, no, I want this one. I'm gonna pull this in. That's why it looks like this. So here I go. I pull this in. I'm like, come on, I want you to use this one, but don't do that because I want to show you what it would really do in a bug. So I got this. Let's pull this one in, but it doesn't even know now because it's like, I don't know what to do. So this is kind of what it would look like if you pulled it in before this other node existed, let's say. So I pull it in, and then you've got JSON message content summary. You're thinking, hey, it's going to get it from here because it's got, oh, hold on a second. My bad. 1 second. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. Gals. Here we go. Okay, let's take this out. Sorry. Okay, so it's gray because it's like, it's interesting. This is an interesting thing. It's grayed out, which should be a warning. So you can see it should pull from JSON, which is the JSON file, and then item JSON message. Oh, what happened there? Yeah, whatever. I'm dragging. Let me drag it over again. But I don't want that. I don't want that in there. Come on, let's go. Okay, yeah. Normally you would have dragged this over. It would have looked like this, especially if you didn't have the name. It would have looked like this when you saved it. Then you would have added in this node, let's say, or something later on, or whatever. You add it later. And then what it's executing, it's going to try and find this JSON message content summary. Even though I dragged it from here, it's going to look here because this is farther down the flow because you're just saying JSON. You're not telling it specifically where to look for the variables. So these variables just keep accruing as the workflow moves forward. And then it's like, okay, JSON message. I know there's a JSON message and there's a JSON message content, but there is no summary there. It doesn't exist. So, but you're like, hey, I just dragged it from this one though, earlier. So that's the problem is if you ever see this error issue and it looks like this, and there's no specific pointer to the variable. So now if I want to point it, so maybe I want to point it in here now, item. Now I've got it because I'm pointing to a specific node. So let me see if I can make this a little bit easier.
Real quick before you leave, where are you? Because I saw you did that in the initial port. Where are you pulling where it shows those categories just then?
Okay, on the left, you mean over here?
No. Go back. You're in the middle, and you're like, okay, this is just JSON message, and then you click something, and it itemized it to.
Okay, let me see. Hold on a second. Oops.
Like you click something, and then it said normalized. Like it showed all your nodes inside that the prompt. I shouldn't say prompt. It wasn't the prompt, but it was.
Are you talking about this type of thing, or somewhere else? Sorry, I don't know where it was.
Gosh, where were you at just now?
Yeah, let's see. Over here I had my test and I grabbed I got you. So here's the thing. So what you do is you can do this $.
Yeah, where's that at? Oh, you just hit $, and that pops up?
Yeah, $, and
gotcha.
then the what is that called? Parentheses or something? I don't know, bracket, whatever that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hit that bracket, now it's going to say, look, there's all these things to pull from. So maybe I want to pull from somewhere else. So I do normalize. And
gotcha.
then now the nice part, here's the cool part. Check this out. So if I put item, see, it tells you what to do, like JSON. And then here's the whole JSON. But what if I want dot? Here's the things inside there. Inside, this is kind of cool. So I could say context. So you can, every dot you put is showing you more inside the this is more advanced stuff, but yeah, So all you do is you have to have these brackets because those tell init that it's a variable. You have to have those brackets and your $sign, and then you do that. What is that? What is that called? Parentheses or something? I have no idea. No, it's not parentheses.
It works for me.
Whatever. That thing. Then you hit the dot.
Yeah, bracket, I think.
Okay, yeah. And that'll let you get to it. Yeah, good question. Sorry, that was doing it too fast there.
No, appreciate it. Cool.
Yes,
and also,
so-
I just wanted to say there was a good nugget there when you said if you had an error, the input, then what you put in it, and then the output. I've always just been doing the output, and I think it's been taking too long. I'm going to try that, having the input
over here,
the middle part, and the output. Yeah, when you had an error, you put it into ChatGPT for all three of them.
Yep.
I've always done the output, and I think it can get me too long. I think if I put those other two, I think that was a great nugget. I'm going to try that next time.
Yeah, awesome. And remember to pin the data, especially when you're using APIs like AI, because if it's the same data coming in, you're just testing stuff out. Why in the world would you hit the AI again to do the same thing? So you got to pin it once you have it. Also in here, you can do things like I can go in here. You can edit this and you can paste in. Like let me show you an example here. Let's go back to executions. Let's say there's this one here that came in, which I don't know what it is. I go here. This is the data. Maybe it's the JSON. So I go to JSON over here because this is the data coming in. The input, it came in, and here's the output, right? This is the only time where there's not really an input. It's mostly just it's the first node. So I go to JSON, I hit copy. Now if I go to editor and I go here, so I went to editor at the top, and I go here, I can actually set mock data, paste that in here, save it, and now it's like it's somehow that thing's happening again. Like, so this is a way for, let's say I wanted to change something in here. Like I said, you know what? I want to change the raw notes. I can just edit this part, and it's pretending like the node executed. So I'll give you an example. Let's do status. Where's that? So see, status is sent. I could change that to something else like draft, right? So if I say draft and I execute this node, look what the schema shows here for the status. Draft. I just changed that. So if I want to test this again, like I want to run entirely again, I could change that status in this little output. I could just change that to, what's it called? I don't remember. Let's see. We call it, let's just prove that it works. Needs follow-up, right? So obviously this one doesn't need follow-up. So I'll edit it. I go here. I'm changing it to needs follow-up. I hit save. Now if I execute this one, watch what happens. It'll be needs follow-up, which now if I execute the whole flow, it's going to go through the whole thing again. See that? It went through the whole field. So this is ways of you, like what I do normally is I'll copy these payloads. Sometimes you have a payload coming in, you want to just test that multiple times. Just copy and put in Notepad or something. And then you could just come in here and edit it and pretend like it happened. You're just pretending like it happened, which that's more advanced stuff there. But anyways, that's an idea. I'll unpin that. Make sure you unpin your data. Sometimes it will mess something up when you're testing it. So I'll include this workflow so you can get it, and look at it. But let me see, where are we at? Okay. Yeah, good question though, Gary. And it's a lot in here. It's like a lot of, this is actually what it probably looks like behind the scenes for people who don't edit their videos. Like you got an unedited raw video here. So it's frustrating, but honestly, I think it's good when I get stuck to show you what happens to fix it, which would not happen necessarily in a real edited demo,
No, yeah, this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a ton. Anybody have? I've pretty much dumped everything that I do when I'm working on workflows. Like it's all here. Like even the last thing I showed you about putting in the mock data, like that's amazing because sometimes you don't want to keep hitting some sort of endpoint or you want to test something, try different things, and all you got to do is like I did, just go and change some fields in there and save it, and you'll just make it work or not work. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Does anybody else have questions? Jeremy.
Yeah, I do one.
It's Jeremy. It says Jeremy Bushra though, I think.
Oh yeah, that's my husband's account.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did somewhere you did the splitting. You were using those little codes.
Okay, let's go to.
And then you were splitting that. The split work. Where do you know that you have to split that?
Okay, good. Okay, so I knew that I had actually, it might even work without it. But what happens is I knew that I had. Here's how to do it. You want to be able to loop through stuff, right? And I don't even know if I need to do it here, but I did. But what happens is you'll see. Oops, that's hard to see. You see how it says one item coming out? Well, sometimes you'll
Yeah.
get one item coming out, but you want it to be multiple items going out from there. So you'll split it out. So I think this one only has, see, this one only has one, by the way. Oh, let me just pick one that has two so we can find it better.
Okay.
Let's go back. Maybe this one. Just trying to find one that has, nope, that doesn't have it. It has to have two. Look at that. I can't believe that happened. It was messing me up the whole time, that little line. See that? That's crazy. So frustrating.
Yeah.
Let's find out. I'm trying to find, I need one with two. Actually, we'll do it. Let's just do it right now. So I can copy to editor. So this one only has one.
Yeah.
See, there's only one. So I'll copy to editor. I copy to editor. I go here to this part. I can edit it. So right now there's only, let's see, let me look. Okay, attendees. Oh, there's supposed to, there are two there. So I'm not sure why I didn't do two. Let's take Mike out though. It should have executed that one on what we did. Let me pin this one. I don't want to read. Oh, well, maybe I do actually. Oh, that's the problem. It was pinned. It was pinned data with just one. So I'm going to run it through real quick. Just a second. Let me delete this out so it doesn't finish. I don't want to do the email sending. So sorry, we're pausing here. I could have told AI maybe to send a JSON with multiple objects. Like we could have done something differently. There's some different ways to do stuff.
So if you would have done that, then you would have not use the split out thing.
Yeah, definitely. If I see two results coming out, then I know that it's going to be okay. Like if it's just okay, hold on. Oh, is that? Why did I thought I deleted that. Somehow it skipped. Oh, I did it during the thing. Okay, so here we go. Check it out. So you can see that I had one item coming in. Oops, one item coming in, which would be this this one result, and it has.
Okay.
Oh, that's weird. Why it has one? It should have two. Oh, there we go. There's two items in content. It's returning two items. This one for this person, and this one for this person. So there's two items. But when it's coming through the node, it only shows one. It's like there's only going to be one thing to execute. But I wanted to loop through each one. Now we could have updated this prompt maybe in here to say to make this more like an array. Possibly it's supposed to do an array, but it's not working. So when I see one, and I see one, but I want it to be all the results. I'll split it out, and I'll just split it by the item that. So right now I know that content. Look at content. Content has two items that I need to get to, and I want them individually treated. 1, 2. So I grab that that one, and I go up here and I just drag it in there. Let's see. I drag it. Now it knows that there's two.
So it only happened where you want multiple actions to be.
Yeah, when I want to.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to see. Let's try something real quick. Let's do. Let's just drag it in there, and let's pin this one now because we want that data now. It had one last time in memory. Let's take this out. Put you there. Let's execute this one. See, it only executed this one time. Like it didn't do it twice. Even though we have two items in here, if I just push it straight here, it's only going to do the first item. Where's that? Let me pull this out. It's like it's confused. It's like I don't know what you're trying to do here, buddy. So if I execute this one, it's only going to use this 100K. But if I were to go in here, and there's more than one result split out, this has two items. See, it has two items now, and it says two items here. So if I go here, and I were to set this to this email, and I run this, it's going to run it twice. So here's the first. Here, I'll show you the table. It's easier. It ran it first, and then it ran it second. So that's what you do. If you saw like multiple items, you know you're okay. But if you ever have an issue where something's coming in as one, like some array of an item, it's not classified as an array or something, then you can put it into split and say, hey, split it out. I got a whole bunch in here. And I want these split out individually so I could do stuff individually with them. And I'm thinking that, let me see if this would work. I don't think it might. And I like the loop because it would do it one time. But it's possible that it will send it twice here. Yep. Okay. So we don't need the for loop for that one. let's see. So if I look in here, it actually sent 2 emails, but it's the same person each time. It's not a different email. So it's not sure what to do in that case. So that's why I took it into here, because when you do a loop and a batch, and this batch size doesn't, it just knows there's a batch coming in. It'll take each individual one of these. They'll say this one and all this data, then this one and all this data, and then blank, 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 however many you have, do this thing. And then at the end, I did this update record. You know, so that's the key. It's sending emails right now. Now it said 2 times, right? If I didn't want it to execute 2 times, I might do the let's see, what's it called? Aggregate, this one. I might do an aggregate to pull in. This might not be the best way to do it, but this is the way I decided to do today. And I might do an aggregate on, it doesn't really matter, accepted, doesn't matter. So what happens if I run this time, it should only have one, because it ran this update record twice because it was 2 items coming in. See that? So I only wanted to update the record 1 time after it was done. So I first split them out. So there's a whole bunch to use. Then I just said, I don't care how many results come in. I just want one flow because I don't want to execute this multiple times. I just want to, and I could have done this. Hold on. Here we go. One more time. Check this out. I could have also done this in the settings, execute once. So what that means is that if I run it now, even if 5 items come into this, it's only going to execute 1 time. It's only going to execute this 1 time. So that's probably what I should have done. I knew multiple items were coming in. I don't like that. I knew multiple items were coming in, and I knew that it was hitting the Airtable twice, by the way. But I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you see that you only want to update 1 time, which it only does 1 time, then I would just do settings, execute once. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
And
then you would not split out, right?
What's that?
Then you wouldn't split out, right?
No, you still split out, but I wouldn't have to aggregate it together. Yeah, this part still you do, but after you're done with this loop, it's gonna look. It tried to do it 2 times. So what happens is like hitting it. There's 2 items coming in. So what happened is this executed twice. Watch. If I do settings, turn that off, and I hit run on this one. See, it says 2 items. So what it did is it hit the Airtable twice. What it didn't have to do. I only wanted to update it once because I'm not really using any data from this loop. So I go in here and I just do once, and then you're good. You're good to go.
I see.
Yeah, you'll get it because if you talked with AI about it, it's still going to help.
I have to rewatch it kind of a couple times.
Yeah, that's okay. Ooh. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a ton. And the problem is that there were
a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, the problem is that there were mistakes and problems and issues, but that's also a good thing for what I want to do. It's to like teach you how to get through it.
I know.
So yeah, it's a bad thing and a good thing all at once. Yeah. Oh yeah, one more thing. Those of you watching, one thing you want to do also is sometimes you'll hit an endpoint like OpenAI or whatever, and maybe it'll have an error, or because it's unavailable, that can happen. So what you do is you go to settings and do retry on fail. And so you might do like 3,000 milliseconds, which is like I think 3 seconds. So what happens is it'll and then it'll successfully work. You can also add in things here like in the settings you might want to add in continue using error output. So if there's an error in it, I could put a debug in here, and I could put something in like OpenAI error, and then just the error message is problem with OpenAI API. I could do this, and what would happen is when it had an error, this bug would show up in our executions here. You'd see this red. I think I have a red one in here. Oh, there it is. See this error?
Quick question following that. You know, like how AI error, like if you encounter that and you are cleaning up and you're saying retry on an error, is it during the build-up phase, or that could happen when you already have all the workflow and it's in a working workflow? Can they hit that kind of error? Like if you have your workflow, it's already built, and sometimes AI acts stupid, GPT, you know, even if you have paid version. So the client is using, let's say, so can they come across that kind of error on that kind of error or no?
Yeah, what you'll do is like in this case, when I do the max retries and retry on fail is usually means that it didn't work. Like it's not that it came back with data that doesn't work. It means that like AI was
Okay.
unavailable. Like so you do that one so that you
Okay.
can kind of catch it. And then if it doesn't, it's going to come down here to this error. It's going to throw an error if it doesn't work 3 times. So this is only for AI usually, or where you see like it tried to hit it and it just didn't work. Like not that it didn't work the way you wanted. That's different error. It didn't work. It just didn't work. Like it literally timed out or there was some problem.
Okay.
So, and also if you have a long one, like let's say you do deep research, go in here. I'm going to show you some good stuff here. So you can go in here and let's see, where's that? You can go down, where's that? Don't see it on here. Oh no, this doesn't work. It's okay with this one. If you have an HTTP request one though, this is many of you are going to have an API endpoint like this. It's going to look like this one here, where you got to like put in some URL here. You got to put in a URL and all this stuff. You'll probably recognize the HTTP request. I would advise if you have a long running HTTP request, sometimes processing video and stuff like that, that you can actually go down here and there's a timeout and change the timeout to like 36,000 or something, which I think is, or 30, is that 36,000? I don't remember how many milliseconds that is. Let's see, 36 ms to mins. About 36,000, I think. Yeah, it's 36,000. So this will help. Or that's 6 minutes. So if you like, for example, let's say I'm hitting an API endpoint, and maybe you're using DeepGram to transcribe, but it doesn't have a polling thing where it hits and then tells you check this later, but it just waits to do something. You'll get a timeout here a lot of times. Like it'll all of a sudden it'll say timed out or stop working. So just remember, if you ever get a timeout on an HTTP request, that you can put in a really high timeout and just to give it time to come back and with an answer. That's just a little tip for you there. That's it. Yeah, I know it's literally. I would be worried for everybody if all you had was this video, like because it's very hard. There's a lot to pick up, but I'm not worried because I know that with this video and with AI that you can kind of like get where you need to get. And you can still message me, by the way, too. So I'm not worried because I know that AI can do amazing things. To be honest, I'm not even needed, honestly, most of the time. So,
thank you, but still a lot to process. It's a very in-depth.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to go through, like watch me do it. Like you don't see that. Usually when you see a workflow done by somebody on YouTube, they've already gone through it and they already have it scoped out. You don't ever see some issue because that's not what they're going to do with the video. They're going to try and cut it and make it look good. So this is real deal. This is raw right here. Yeah.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else have? Yeah, no problem. Anybody else have questions before we wrap it up? Okay, yeah. Go for it, Heinrich.
Yes, great. So my question is, ChatGPT does have a Pro. It does have GPTs that you can use, and one of them is a lot of N8N builders actually. But my question was like, I was wondering which are better, this GPT builders from ChatGPT or N8N AI, which is like inside N8N itself, or N8N-MCP.com.
Yeah, okay. I think that in the order of progression, N8N's native AI would be great for building workflows if you have a subscription usually or something in there. And then number 2 is N8N MCP, because that's really awesome, but you're using Claude, so it'll be a little expensive. And then finally, maybe some GPT that someone's made is fine. But yeah, usually I would go. Here's my advice. Go here, right here. Let's see. Just go here because there's 6,282 workflows on n8n.io/workflows. I think you can get there. Where is it? I don't see it. Somewhere. So you can just type in n8n workflow, and then you can type in whatever you want here, like Facebook, and then find something that you want, like maybe automated social media, and go here. It's usually free. This one's a buy one, so there's my luck. Let's go here. That one's free. So they'll usually show you, and then just grab this. Like literally, you can click it and explore what they're doing in their models, which is pretty awesome. So I would advise to build your workflows. You could use N8N native builder, but that's just with certain subscriptions, right? And then N8N MCP is great because it's more flexible. Works in your self-hosted N8N. You know, you can do that. It'll work in the self-hosted. It plugs right in. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else? Anybody? Now's your time. Any questions? If you're stuck on anything, anything related to automation AI, I'm here. A couple more minutes and then we'll head out. This is a big one though. This is a lot. I'm proud of it and ashamed of it all in the same time. Because making errors, this stuff just happens.
Hey, you shouldn't be ashamed. We all are human. You're teaching us, and I think it's really good that there were errors, because just like having an error prone something, it teaches you more.
Yeah, like how I solve it.
Yeah,
like what did I look at? How was I thinking? Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Cool. I won't be ashamed then. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
Umesh, what's up?
Yeah, we're also proud of it. And actually, I was struck up with all of these kind of issues. And today I learned how to solve it. Thanks a lot. I hope while doing it now, it should be easier for us to solve it.
Yeah, no, and the nice part is, if you have a question and your mic doesn't work, just put it in the chat and I can look at it. But yeah, the main thing is, and thank you all for telling me to switch tabs, because I'm trying to do it all in the browser and switching back. So thank you very much for telling me that. I appreciate you for telling me that. Yeah, go ahead, Franciscus. Go for it, man. Just type it in the chat if your browser doesn't work or your mic doesn't work. Just go ahead and type it in. I don't know if he's getting it or not. Any more and you can always message me on my school, AI Titus. Yeah, Heinrich, go ahead.
Yes, I was wondering, to get ChatGPT for companies. It's called ChatGPT Teams or something like that.
Yes.
It's $35 or so.
Right.
But I remember that you said, guys, ChatGPT sometimes a hit and sometimes a miss. So sometimes pretty good, but sometimes kind of not reliable. Is Claude maybe better?
Yeah, I think Claude's really good for writing in some code. Codex is coming up pretty even with it now, but there's also some free, some pretty awesome ones. I can't remember. Let me see. I would recommend they use OpenRouter, openrouter.ai, which I'll put in the chat. Openrouter.ai, because you can actually tap into every single model in there without having to be subscribed to any of them, and that's a good one. So OpenRouter. And then there's a new one I'm looking at here, which I'm going to come up with real quick. It's called GLM 4.6. GLM 4.6, and this is an open source one, so it's much cheaper than anybody else. Pretty equal to Claude almost. The context is small though; it's only 200K, where I think some of them have 1 million. But Claude has a very small context as well. GPT has, I think, a lot more now, maybe 1 million. I can't remember. So yeah, just look up OpenRouter, because you can then use any model, Gemini, whatever, and just use that and try them out. But yeah, for coding, I find that Claude's pretty good. Gemini's really good for front end, like making really cool front end stuff. And also Claude's pretty good. And then also ChatGPT. I usually, if it doesn't work in Claude, then I'll put it into ChatGPT to fix it, or Gemini. Like I'll just do one or the other to see if they can fix the problem if the one's stuck.
Okay. What about Grok, the AI from Elon Musk? Because I don't know if it's I don't know. I like his business style. Other things are questionable, but mostly I find his Grok answers, when I compare to other LLMs, like the best. Is it? Do you confirm that, or?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why you could use OpenRouter, because you could try it. I don't use Grok too much, but OpenRouter, you could actually use Grok on there, I believe. So you could try it out. And then really, it's just try it out, see if it works. If it doesn't work a lot, just do a different one. Find which one works best for you and what you're doing.
All right. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Francisca said Airtable trigger connection doesn't work. The normal mode is working. So yeah, I need more details, probably that one. Let me check ours though real quick, because I can go to it. share this tab. So it must be in this area that you're talking about, I imagine. Let's refresh. So it's probably here. And so remember, I had made a mistake where I put the trigger field, and the trigger field is supposed to be the field where the time changes. That's where it will actually. I sometimes when I used a long time ago make or Zapier, it's a little bit easier to do this one. But trigger field, you just put in the name of the field. So if the field is here, make a field in there, which I did not do. Last modified, and then just use that last modified field, which just says last modified time. So I copy the name of that one. So I copy the name of that field, this one. And remember when I set this up, I had specific fields. So only when the status changes, and this is just Airtable specific. There's a lot more smart people who do Airtable tutorials, so you get a lot more out of it. I usually use database, but that's hard for some people to do. So I try to use something more easier. And Sheets is not reliable as a business model as far as like you're not paying for it, like it's free. So I wanted something where you could like hold them accountable if they don't work. So last modified time, I added that in as a field, and I put the status, so only when status changes. And then I go here to, and I pasted it in here. So this is not status. Sorry, that was a mistake. This should not, I thought that was the field that would trigger it, but it doesn't. The field that triggers it is the last modified when the date goes. And then in there, you'll set, like I said, status as that's when last modified updates. So what happens is init will look at here and say, this Airtable trigger will say, has anything changed recently? And if it has changed, then we run that. So that's what it's doing. I don't know if that helps your question, maybe. All right. See if that works. You can, okay, well, just email me or message me on AI Titus School, and then we can get that going. But I'm sure it's close. And make sure, here's the thing, screenshot your setting for screenshot your Airtable setting, like what it looks like. This hey, one sec, Hafiz, I'll be right there. Screenshot this for me. Screenshot. Oh, sorry, this one. Screenshot this right here. Screenshot that, send it to me so I can take a look at it. All right, Hafiz, what's up, man? You ready? You got your hand raised? You're up.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was mute.
That's all right.
So you mentioned about GLM 4.6. I just tried to Google it, but it doesn't give me like a independent like openrouter.ai. It doesn't have that kind of a URL. Am I missing something there?
I don't know if it's working with it's open source, so it's pretty cool. But okay. I don't know if it's working with let me see real quick. I'm checking one thing. Let me give it a second. I'm going to try and find their it's z.ai is where you go. Z.ai.
Yeah. That one comes up. Yeah, I thought that is some other random thing.
No, it's good.
Okay,
it's actually very on par and like 10% of the cost or something per token usage.
Yeah.
So
great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else? It's been a long time. I appreciate your patience. Hopefully this is good. You can review. Yeah, Heinrich, what's up?
Yeah, you said there will come soon, AI that does a lot of these things with a natural language.
Yep.
And actually today something was launched, which is buildmyagent.io.
Yes.
It's I think that the people that are running it are legit, speaking from their school teacher performance. But I wanted to ask, it costs $25, and honestly, I'm not sure if I can in 3 days for next week be like ready to the topic of next week. The topic of next week is sales. So
yes,
having an MVP. So I was thinking about either pay that $25 or maybe get some help from Indian people that do it with me like 2 hours. Indian N8N people, they are very affordable and very good. Some of them. So
Right.
yeah, because it's a sales week, you know.
Yeah, I think what you could do also, because it doesn't take too long, is go through that prompt, this one, the workflow, because it does generate a nice. It's on session 2 slide here. I'll show you. Session 2 slide 27. For session 2, just use this prompt, because I'm telling you, this was good. Like, I could have said keep it simpler, but this was a good prompt because it gave me the exact nodes, and then I said down below, let's just go step by step, which I did right here. And so it was like, I mean, this is very obvious. The stuff I was doing, some of it was complicated, but you could try this first and see, or if you want, just sign up for N8N, or you know, there's this $24 a month or something. Sign up for they have a nice workflow builder, but also just go to, well, it's harder to set it up, but you could do N8N MCP. That's a little bit harder, but that's more in control for you. I put it in the chat, N8N MCP. Right. But yeah, I would just, if I were you and you had to crank it out, I would either do what I said with that prompt, which is not as nice as N8N just building the workflow for you, and then you'd have the workflow done. So just do that before you paid somebody. I don't think you're going to pay anybody $24 to do it. So like, you could just try it with N8N and see what happens. But you could also do the AI prompt. I mean, literally, it showed me all the like, literally, it told me, look, here's the trigger. Here's the. I probably didn't follow it as close as I should have, trying to get through it. So I'm just saying, it might be something you could do. It's up to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? I'm going to head out in a minute. Woo! This is a long one, this one, but appreciate y'all for being here.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, everybody take care, and
thank you.
We'll see you next week. Yeah, no problem. And then don't worry, you're never falling behind if you are doing something to move forward. So you're never falling behind. And it's all in video, so you can always go back and review it. Even if we go to the marketing part and you're not ready, you can still have time to make the other stuff and then review the marketing part. So yeah, you all are great. Keep up the good work. Keep hustling, and have a good weekend.
Thank you.
You too.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you.